Okay, John Gruden is available on the coaching market. Some good baseball last night, and we move on. Some of you actually having Columbus Day off, so maybe you've got some frustration you want to vent this morning on the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Maybe you didn't get around to venting it yesterday over South Carolina's 45-20 loss. We're here. We'll be the punching bag. We'll take all the anger, all the frustration. We'll help you get it out here on the Tuesday morning. Let's just move past it when Shane Beamer speaks to the media later today about 1:15. You can hear that right here on 107.5 The Game. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrett, Jen Jensen. Yeah, we're in studio. You can check us out. We've got a camera up on the live stream. How's it going over there? How's that camera working out for us?
It just turned green.
Oh, good.
It actually did just turn green. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, we're weird. Green screen. Yeah, it looks good. So you can join us all kind of different ways this morning, listening via the radio, as you always do. You can join us on the live stream where I believe we look green.
This is actually kind of a nice. This would actually work for Halloween. Do you see this?
So it is.
It's kind of like a night vision, spooky little thing.
It is a very fancy looking. Yeah, you can join us on the live stream and see us here in the beautiful studio that is. Again, if you want to weigh in on anything today, such as you didn't get a chance to, express your anger over South Carolina's loss, certainly we want to talk a little bit about last night. Again, the Braves take a 2-1 series lead. That was yesterday afternoon with a 3-0 defeat of Milwaukee. I did stay up and watch Boston and Tampa Bay, a great series that I kind of hate to see come to an end. Boston walks it off in the ninth there. They win 6-5 over Tampa Bay. They'll advance to face the winner of Houston and Chicago White Sox. Today, Houston's got a 2-1 lead in that series. And then late last night, San Francisco takes a 2-1 lead on the Dodgers with a 1-0 victory. And of course, the big news last night, Patrick, we'll start with a little NFL before moving back to college. Or to college sports, I should say, not moving back to college. We're all older. We don't go to college. But yeah, last night, John Gruden resigning over offensive emails. He resigned as head coach of the Los Angeles Raiders. He announced in a statement sometime around 10 o'clock last night, I guess. Number one, obviously, you can get into emails, the age of them, a lot to kind of cover there, a 10-year period of racist anti-gay language used. The Raiders certainly, I think, started an investigation, but I believe John Gruden just got straight to the point. He said this was his statement Monday night. I love the Raiders and do not want to be a distraction. Thank you to all the players, coaches, staff, and fans of Raider Nation. I'm sorry. I never anyone. Raiders owner Mark Davis releasing a short statement saying he accepted Gruden's resignation. Assistant coach Rich Bisaccia, who was one time a assistant coach here at the University of South Carolina, will serve as interim head coach effective immediately. So that was kind of the wild story that was breaking last night. I did not watch much of Monday Night Football. I was more invested in Boston and Tampa Bay in terms of what was going on in sports last night. But certainly just the John Gruden.
When did that happen, though?
Huh?
That you're Mr. Playoff Baseball all of a sudden.
It's playoff baseball is always just more entertaining. Well, I mean, it's more entertaining than the regular season. I'll get into playoff baseball, and the Red Sox, the Red Sox Rays series was actually really, really good. Red Sox jumped out to a 5-0 lead last night. Rays battled back to tie it, and again, the Red Sox win it in the ninth. I'll get into it a little bit, far more so than I will when you talk about what's going on in the regular season. But no, again, the John Gruden news yesterday. Just does it shake up the NFL? Is this it for him? Does he get another chance anywhere? Does he show back up on television? Kind of a wild story last night.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting another job. If I was John Gruden, I would just go ahead and take my money and hide out somewhere and just retire. It's pretty crazy what was going on because before, less than, I guess, an hour or two before he actually resigned, I saw, I was reading an article from Pro Football Talk where Mike Florio said that basically the NFL doesn't want to suspend him. They just want to keep putting things out until the Raiders fire him. And that was exactly what happened, or I guess he resigned before they could fire him. I just I don't know where this came from. Like who was releasing this, and who, like, was it from the Raiders? Was it an inside job from the Raiders to say we are trying to get out of these last 7 years and $70 million because clearly we made a mistake? Is it someone in the NFL that's been holding on to emails for 10 years? It's very scandalous.
Yeah, interesting stuff there with the Raiders last night. John Gruden, again, that was kind of the big national news that took place, I think, right around 9 o'clock. I saw it pop across the bottom of the screen as I was watching the Red Sox and Rays. So certainly a weird situation there. We'll see there's move forward from there. Rich Bisaccia being named, again, interim head coach. So, again, a wild situation. 803-404-6100. You can weigh in. Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. We'll cover a whole bunch today. It's a day where I think most of you are back into the work routine. Maybe you got Columbus Day off. I was in a golf tournament yesterday afternoon, so I got a chance to get out and play a little golf, get away from everything, and enjoy a day outside. Cannot say that I played particularly well, but we move forward here. The Gamecocks right now scheduled to take on Vanderbilt this coming weekend. And again, Shane Beamer will speak later today. You can hear it right here on 107.5 Game. No news out of South Carolina yesterday. I know a lot of people weighing in on the game itself, the Tennessee game, the 45-20 victory. And again, if you didn't get a chance to weigh in on that, look, we understand anger. We understand frustration with fan base right now. It's going to be typical when you have a game that goes the way it did last Saturday. 803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Matthew is up first. Matthew, how you doing on a Tuesday morning? What's on your mind regarding the Tennessee game? You see the live stream link? Thank you for the phone call,
Matthew. Yeah, I mean, look, again, the bottom line is there was a million different things that South Carolina could have done there on the goal line in that situation on both plays. Now, I guess maybe in Luke Doty's defense, what he could have done was handed it off. Marshawn Lloyd probably would have strolled in for a touchdown. Again, how much would have it changed the game? Hard to really say, but the bottom line there is, yeah, they could have done things. I do think when you talk about getting Dakereon Joyner the ball as a wide receiver, other guys have got to step up in practice. I don't think for a second that Justin Stepp would continue to trot guys out there that are just being beaten out. And from all information that's coming out right now, other receivers, which we knew, Patrick, going into the season that South Carolina's receiving corps was going to be a struggle. Josh Vann was, at least a little bit of a revelation there with stepping up in the first few games. He's kind of gone silent, been a little injured, but kind of gone silent the last few games. They need other guys to step up. Jalen Brooks has been hit or miss. Trey Smith is a guy that you thought maybe would be able to step up, but he's now transferred out. Marion Brown has done some things, but I've been surprised we haven't seen him get vertical more often and try to throw the ball downfield to him. It feels like everything's been out on the perimeter and allowing him to use speed and quickness to try and move the football. So, we'll kind of see where exactly that goes just in terms of wide receivers, but other people have got to step up.
Well, to the Dakereon Joyner point, what about the forcing the Wildcat deal? Because we had said for years that it would be smart to utilize him in some sort of package and have some place for him. But it is
and has become the most predictable thing in the world. He's going to run it. At what point do you just, if you're going to do this, don't you have to let him throw the ball to at least threaten that it's a possibility? I guess the goal line is the worst time to do it, because what are you going to do? You're not going to throw it from the Wildcat on the goal line, but that just is more point to why that was just completely unnecessary to even do in the first place. Luke Doty's probably stronger, he's bigger, and would be a better goal line runner if that's what you want to do. So I'm really more concerned with why he's being put on the 1 yard line in Wildcat formation as a Wildcat quarterback. We kept focusing on the Jordan Burch pass, but the first down decision was equally as inexplicable there.
Yeah, you would have thought that they could have just stuck with what they were doing and kept running the football out of the I formation, or just kind of
everyone in the stadium and watching on television knew he was running the ball.
Again, yeah, we'll cover it. Again, I know some people were out yesterday and didn't get to express anger or any type of emotion regarding the game on Saturday afternoon, and certainly you are more than entitled to do that. 803-404-6100. Back out to the Love Chevy phone lines we go. Scott is up next regarding football in general. Scott, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind? All right. Thank you for the phone call, Scott. You talk about it, Patrick. You look at the AP top 25. Let's give you the rundown. I'll give you the rundown of the top 10 real quick. Georgia at number 1. They received all 62 first place votes. Iowa at 2, Cincinnati at 3, Oklahoma 4, Alabama 5, Ohio State 6, Penn State is 7, Michigan is 8, Oregon 9, Michigan State, who is 6-0. I don't know if anybody's noticing this. Michigan State under second-year coach Mel Tucker has gotten to number 10. By the way, Kentucky 6-0, number 11 currently, and one other undefeated team, Oklahoma State, is at number 12. For those of you wondering, Coastal Carolina is at number 15. Patrick, it's an interesting year in college football. I still think that Georgia has separated themselves from the pack. It does look like Alabama has some flaws. The SEC Shorts videos that come out on Monday morning kind of made fun of Alabama a couple weeks ago after the Florida game and mentioned some of the deficiencies that they have with their team. They just came to fruition on Saturday night in College Station. So, you wonder what if Alabama could trip up again along the way. It's possible. I don't think they will. I think you'll get a 10-1 Alabama team going into the SEC championship. But to me, and I'll give you my opinion very quickly, Iowa is without offense. Like, if Sean Clifford stays in that game for Penn State's number 2 right now. Iowa is the team that drops, and probably drops further because they would have gotten their doors blown off. I think they would have probably lost 31-10 or something in that manner. Sean Clifford and Penn State were moving the football on Iowa. Cincinnati is a great story. It might be neat to see them in the College Football Playoff. Oklahoma certainly had an incredible rally. Let's not forget they were down 28-7. Looked like their playoff hopes were all but done. Could they trip up? They still got games against Oklahoma State, who I mentioned is undefeated and ranked 12th, and Iowa State, who seems to have jumped up and gotten them the last few years. Ohio State is kind of the team that I start to pay more attention to. Back-to-back weeks of 50 or more points. We've written them off after a loss to Oregon, who's a top 10 team, but Ohio State's kind of hanging around out there and could potentially run the table. They'll get a game against Penn State here in the coming weeks, who's number 7, and I do kind of like Penn State. I know you weren't a big fan of Sean Clifford. Michigan, we'll see how good they are in the coming weeks. Again, they've got to go through Penn State, Michigan State, and Ohio State, so 3 top 10 games still for Michigan. And then you go to Oregon. I actually think there's a little bit of parity, and that the back half of the season with the College Football Playoff Committee could actually be kind of entertaining, seeing how all this plays out.
Well, yeah, I agree with all that. To his point about the AP poll, but it does seem like there's this weird combination of half the voters are sticking to their like preconceived opinions of these teams, and half of them are going into it with like a blank slate and just strictly judging off what they've seen. Because, I mean, do we believe that Alabama is better than Michigan State? Of course. I think most people listening to this station do. But would it not be fair to just make all of the undefeated teams the top 10 or 11 teams, and then when they lose, you can readjust accordingly? Would that not have been like the fair way to do it? That's how it works in every other sport. If you don't lose, you're the highest ranked team. So what has Michigan done or not done to be number 8 at 6-0, but Iowa's number 2 at 6-0?
Yeah, and I'm with one of the texters here that weighs in partially. Charles, I believe it is, says the only ranking that matters are the college football playoffs. Stop paying attention to the AP. I like the rankings; they're entertaining. I am with you. The college football playoff is what matters,
Yeah.
and we've got that coming up.
But it does mean something to the team.
It does.
Be ranked. Like Iowa fans are all sorts of fired up to be ranked number 2 in the AP. Cincinnati fans are over the moon to be ranked top 3 in the AP poll, the highest ranking they've ever had. Iowa, highest ranking since 1985 or something like that. So it does mean something to the programs. I mean, you think Kentucky fans wouldn't love to be ranked number 5 where Alabama is, and Kentucky can say we're a top 5 team right now, even though they obviously wouldn't be. But, I mean, Kentucky has 6 wins.
Well, and the only other thing I would say to Charles about the AP and why people pay attention, look at what everybody said about Alabama on Saturday night. I think it was like the first loss to a non-ranked AP team in what, 180 games, 184 games, I believe, something like that, since 2009. Again, you go back to Clemson, they were using the AP poll to point out how long it had been since Clemson had not been ranked in the AP poll. It's small little stats facts like that come into play. You're right, Charles, about the AP, the coaches poll, pretty much irrelevant. It's only the college football playoff, and we'll get that here in roughly about 3 weeks. I believe it is is it a Tuesday night or a Monday night? I think it's a Monday night that the first one comes out at halftime of like the Monday night football game. So 803-404-6100. How you can join us. Bill Gunner, Patrick Brett, Jen Jensen. It's a Tuesday morning. Some of you are back to work. Some of you are on your second day of work. We're on day number 2. We're on day number 2. You can join us on the live stream this morning. Weigh in that way. Look at the beautifulness that is the 3 of us. Jen Jensen has joined. I am here. Patrick's in studio. It's beautiful, Jen. Very good. So you can weigh in on the live stream. You can also join us this morning. Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone line, 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Family Matters is on. I forget which episode this is with that guy. Oh,
I really don't know how this green screen is happening. Anybody know anything about cameras and know why we're green?
it's a great question.
Google it. Yes.
It's
Not a flattering camera angle. I feel like just straight on angle. I've looked good the last 2 days.
Oh,
What you got?
green screens are usually caused by an insufficient amount of power running to the camera. Try removing any USB devices that may be sharing power.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And that would actually add up for all of these things. So,
I don't know. Where is the USB?
Maybe it's a heat sensor type thing, you know? Like it looks like you guys are in a covert operation.
This is all too much.
All too much. Too much for us. Edited.
It's probably not me having me dig around here.
That's probably no need for that.
How much damage can be done by me unplugging a USB?
Everything. Morning, Craig. Everything can be damaged. Ravens kept you up last night. Well, I got too invested in that baseball game.
I was had a 90% chance of winning my fantasy game, and the person I was playing against had Mark Andrews and Jonathan Taylor, and scored 72 points in the fourth quarter. And I was up like 30.
Thank you.
In the fourth quarter.
I look like a little leprechaun. It's actually, I'll take that as a compliment. That is, I am a very cute leprechaun. Thank you, anonymous person watching on the live stream. I'm a skinny leprechaun, though. Down to like 155. And I didn't know leprechauns had dark beards. I thought they had orange beards. I don't think you've seen a leprechaun lately, now that I think about that. Definitely not the movie Leprechaun. Back we go. Rolling along on a Tuesday morning. Hope you're up and at 'em, doing well today. Again, moving through the month of October. Again, Shane Beamer will speak. You can hear it right here. 107.5 The Game, about 1:15 is usually about the time he takes to the podium. And Patrick, look, I don't want anybody, if you didn't get to express your anger or whatever your emotions were from Saturday, feel free to call in, weigh in on that. I know some of you have already been doing that. A lot of people weighing in. Raphael walks text in, says fans keep talking about the Birch pass play. What about the double reverse pass for, drum roll please, 6 yards? Also give EJ Jenkins the ball. Can't coach 6'8", 6'9" height advantage. EJ Jenkins not really a factor at all on Saturday. And yes, the double reverse was a very strange play call. I don't know if basically you can say this, Raphael, like maybe the defense stayed with it and Jalen Brooks decided to break off the route and just come back to help. I believe it was Josh Dan who threw the pass. It could have been, I'm not sure. But it was interesting that South Carolina had a defensive end, a quarterback, a wide receiver, and a punter throw a pass. I feel like that has to be a record for positional players throwing passes in a game.
That's got to come up today, right? I mean, I would think someone would ask him, why so many trick plays? Do you not believe in your quarterback or offensive line, or you just feel like a rubber match?
I think the simple answer is they're just trying to generate whatever right now. Lining up and just beating somebody heads up is not happening for this offense.
It wasn't dry.
It did seem to be moving in that direction there for a few minutes. Now, again, what if Tennessee made adjustments? Could South Carolina continue to do it? I think that's where we are all a little baffled. Why not keep doing it?
From the 2-yard line or the 1-yard line?
From the 2 is one. Well, I think one, but it's where they ran the Carry Joiner play. Which again, we can debate that all we want. If he hands it off to Marshawn Lloyd, to go back and watch, the left side has a hole. Marshawn Lloyd probably stumbles and falls in the end zone with little problem. Carry Joiner, to my knowledge, has handed off once in those situations this year. He is not. He's trying to make plays with his legs. That's what he does. It gives him opportunities, and he's continued to try and do that. The scouting report would be on to Carry Joiner in the Wildcat situation. He's going to keep focus on him. So again, we'll kind of see. Billy weighs in on the text. Send me a long text. I'll read it. But he says let's start this figure out here. He says he's been sitting back and listening. He doesn't have much to say. Some of these Carolina fans and people need to realize this is the first year under a brand new coach, brand new system, not just a coach that came into a situation where we did not have a good team here for him to get started on. We didn't really have anything to recruit from. So anybody who was expecting anything wonderful out of this team this year really was stretching it. I still think it's going to be 2 or 3 years before we really see what Shane Beamer and these coaches are bringing here. People need to calm down, take a breath, understand it's the first year, relax. Thank you, Billy. True. Look, again, there's a lot there to kind of unpack with that particular text message. It is a rebuild. There's no other way around it. South Carolina's roster, I think, has some good players. Do they have enough to match up with the majority of the SEC? No, probably not. Vanderbilt at least will be one of those programs where talent-wise, as we see from the current point spread, they should be able to match up and have zero problems. But at the end of the day, this is a team who still kind of needs to recruit its way out of this situation. They've got a top 25 recruiting class right now. That's not bad. It is only good for about 10th in the SEC. So you're going to have to land and find a way to land some of these guys who are program changers.
But that's what we keep going back to. The Tennessee team that they just played is also in a rebuilding mode, except they seem to be rebuilding on the fly because something is working with their play calling, particularly their offensive play calling. Who else is equal talented to South Carolina? I mean, at this point, are we ready to say Kentucky is the more talented team
than
South Carolina?
I think they're but I don't think much has changed in terms of talent. I think they're coached up better. Their development is better.
Guys in the NFL too.
Again, if you look at it depends on what you want to believe in recruiting rankings. As someone who did recruiting and understands the rankings and understands all that kind of like what goes on behind the scenes of ranking guys and how.
But the transfer portal is also throwing a huge wrench into this too, right? Because now we can't really keep up with it.
Yeah,
I don't know how to factor that into the talent level.
Let's just use Kentucky, great example. Let's use Tennessee. Hendon Hooker comes in, and whether it's a new system that he fits better in than at Virginia Tech, whether it's better coaching under Josh Heupel than it was under Justin Fuente, that's a great question. And what you can get out of guys, and I think that's a great point when you talk about overall talent. I don't know off the top of my head. Look, Wan'Dale Robinson, for Kentucky was a playmaker at Nebraska, transferred out, kind of came back closer to home. It wasn't a case of him really underperforming at Nebraska. I think he was just unhappy there. That was a very solid pickup. Obviously, Will Levis has turned out to be a stabilizing force at quarterback and has given them a bit of a passing game. I don't know if I would say Kentucky's more talented than South Carolina. I guess they are across the board in terms of depth. But what I would say that you have to consistently give Kentucky credit for over the last 8 years when you compare them to South Carolina is the overall development of players. Josh Allen's a great example of that for Kentucky. I'm trying to think of the other linebacker that they had that has gone on now, I think, for the Steelers.
Are you talking about Jamin Davis? Were you talking about Bud Dupree, the pass
Bud
rusher?
Dupree.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So, you look at what Kentucky's been able to do. And look, that's going to, whether South Carolina fans like to hear this or not, over time, that's exactly what South Carolina is going to have to do is develop players. You're not going to, at least for the next several years until you win big, you're not going to land the top 10 recruiting class that puts you in the top 3 or 4 of the SEC. There's got to be development of players. And I think that was the weirdest thing about the Will Muschamp era with some players. DJ Wonnum would come in and would develop very well. Some guys not so much. So under Shane Beamer, when we talk about this program moving forward, you've got to see development. Hendon Hooker for Tennessee, you're seeing development from him and a guy who's growing in that role and now leading that offense.
But this makes people feel worse now, right? Because we also felt Missouri was not as talented as South Carolina. They came in with what did Eli Drinkwitz say, a JV roster or a what was his?
Well, you're talking about last year. Well,
last year.
It was last year when he said that because they were right at the 53-man limit of COVID, and basically just saying that they were down to 53 players, even though I think South Carolina was like at 54. So
handled South Carolina.
Well,
because
when you say Missouri last year,
yeah.
Well, no, that was 7. You got to remember that. Look, semantics here. 17-10, and Carolina had the ball with a chance to go down and tie the game.
And they made a quarterback change and looked utterly useless in the first half of that game.
Right. That was I believe Mike Bobo's first game as head coach.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, this just means that South Carolina is getting outcoached, which doesn't make this brings back to square one, makes everyone feel worse, right?
I think it depends on how you feel about the current coaching staff. And we're 6 games in. And again, the development of players, I think a lot of people right now are looking, and I know that results are a tad skewed. And I think depending on what side of the aisle you want to fall on, the glass half empty or glass half full side, has the secondary developed a little bit? Has certain players in the secondary developed a little bit? Who do you give credit for Jalen Foster? Do you say, well, no, he's just been bad competition? Do you say, okay, Torian Gray's come in and developed him? Do you look back and say, man, he was coming along under Will Muschamp? Again, it's all opinions. Everybody's allowed to have one. It's a lot going on right now, at least with South Carolina football. I think you look up at the road at Clemson, how much development is taking place. You could quite frankly say Brandon Streeter has done an awful job of developing DJU. Something's obviously going on up there. And you look at the coaching staff, CJ Spiller's now a running backs coach. How much development is happening with their players up there, which is why they seem to be taking a step back from where they were. You can recruit great classes.
Yeah.
But you still got to be able to develop guys. South Carolina isn't going to recruit great classes. They're going to land a guy here, a guy there. But what you've got to do is be able to develop.
Do you or other South Carolina fans, I guess anyone can answer this, believe that if we flipped even just the play callers, not the head coaches, but just have Josh Heupel's offense, Josh Heupel calling this offense versus Marcus Satterfield with Tennessee's team, South Carolina's offense would look like Tennessee's? I mean, that's basically.
I don't think they have the guys. There have been instances right now.
Tyon Evans is not better than all
but
South Carolina's running backs.
No,
right?
but you would say Velus. Is it Velus? Am I
Bayless
right?
Jones?
Bayless. I'm sorry. Bayless Jones would probably be the best receiver, maybe second best. I mean, I think
Cedric Tillman also is a specimen.
And I think right now Luke Doty is coming along. I'm not disappointed with where he's at in his development, but I think Hendon Hooker looks far more comfortable as a quarterback. Now
he's how old? Like 22?
Well, I want to say he had 15 starts under his belt before starting for Tennessee. So we'll look that up. We'll continue on. You get the point. Development is certainly key when we talk about South Carolina's program, because if you're realistic, the recruiting is going to have to slowly develop. This isn't going to next year. isn't going to be a class that necessarily puts South Carolina just over the top. You're going to have to be able to develop some guys. Look, DJ Swearinger was not an elite recruit coming out of Greenwood. He was developed, turned into a great safety. You can go through the list of guys. Byron Gerardo turned into a great defensive lineman because of development under Brad Lawing. It's going to have to be the same thing. What you got on Hooker?
He's 23.
Okay, I didn't realize he was that. Actually, did not realize he was that old. But there's a difference. A guy who's been around. Do you have how many starts he had at Virginia Tech in front of you?
Oh no, I'm looking at his recruiter ranking. He was class of 2017.
Okay, so he's been around. You get the point there. So while I don't think that Tennessee is, I think Tennessee needs to. I think we both would be surprised if Tennessee won one of their next 4 games. Is that right? Would you be surprised?
Yeah.
Is that a fair
Yeah.
way to describe your reaction if they beat Mississippi? Mississippi, I think, would be their best chance. Mississippi, Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama in some order there.
I wouldn't be stunned if they beat Georgia. I mean, not Georgia, Kentucky. Sorry, Kentucky.
Who do you give Tennessee a better chance of beating? Kentucky or Mississippi?
Kentucky.
Really? I get Tennessee.
Weren't we just saying the other
Mississippi.
day how Ole Miss could find themselves?
Well, they
lost
could. No,
team?
look, I wouldn't pick them to win any games. I'm just saying what is better. We'll continue on with this conversation. You're welcome to join in 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us this morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Yeah, one thing you can debate, you can get excited, you get fired up about football season, and the next thing you know, you're arguing with each other, you're throwing pumpkin spice lattes at each other, or maybe some of the buffalo chicken. It gets out of hand. Maybe that's just at my house. Maybe that's how debates happen and arguments happen and how the carpet gets dirty. That's why I rely on Zero Res to come in after a heated college football debate and clean up everything that has happened. Because with Zero Res, I know the carpets, the tile, the rugs, everything will look absolutely fantastic. Why do I know that? Because with Zero Res, I get patented technology that uses high pH electrolyzed water, not harsh chemicals. No sticky, soapy residue is left behind. So once the argument is over and Zero Res has visited, all of a sudden it looks like I'm a perfectly clean person. That's right. Zero Res's own water, ZR water, is what helps, and the technology is absolutely incredible. Scientifically proven to get your carpet, rugs, tile, and upholstery insanely clean. Insanely clean. Totally different than just clean. Insanely clean, lovely, beautiful, smells good, looks great, makes people impressed with what you do at your home. That's why you need to call Zero Res and book an appointment today. 803-262-4020. You can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Right now, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. You'll get your hallway cleaned for free. That's $75 of total savings. So again, right now, 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 when you mention my name, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. You will get your hallway clean for free. $75 of total savings. Give them a call, 803-262-4020, or book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Spell it backwards, spell it forward. Zero Res, the right way to clean. Okie dokie.
I can't figure out how many starts he's had. I can see all the games he's played. I guess I can just look it up on Twitter. There's no way Beamer can say Vanderbilt is a good team in his press conference today, right? That is what Don asks.
It's a good point. Yeah, no, the answer.
Will he?
He should probably just avoid that at all costs. Like, Madonna, I feel like he'll say it. I feel like that's what he'll point out. Craig, I don't know. Are we really that impressed with Will Levis? Like, I mean, he did only throw for 112 yards against South Carolina. In
What did you just do against LSU?
how many throw for?
I
250
don't know.
something?
I actually have no idea. We'll have to find out. I assume he had a good game if they pumped LSU by 21 points. Interesting. Just super efficient. Okay, yeah, he had a monster game.
Against LSU?
Well, he was only 14 of 17 with 3 touchdowns and 145 yards, but he also had 75 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. So he had 240 yards total and 5 combined touchdowns.
Big day.
Yeah.
Solid day.
My cousin texted me something yesterday. Let's see what he said.
Awesome. My mom is sick. That's fantastic.
It's all going well around here. The other soccer coach, he's from Chicago. The head coach for us. He just because personal information for him. He sent us a text yesterday and said that his mother went into emergency open heart surgery, and they basically left from Lexington to drive to Chicago yesterday. So crazy time.
Yeah. Okay with all of that. Yeah, things were a bit weird. Like today I left, she was okay. Yeah, I mean, she seemed okay, but just had a moment or two of like, what? What are you saying? But then she's sleeping more than yesterday. She was sleeping a lot more, and there's just this one moaning thing she does when things are turning with her. Apparently, she got sick last night.
Fever?
She actually threw up, which she just doesn't do, and then I think she has a low grade fever now.
I didn't sleep good last night.
I was going to go to bed early, but then I was watching the video and then talking to my sister, because we didn't see my mom.
I was on the couch at 3 a.m. this morning. My knee was just sore. Oh, good times.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It can only get better, right?
The health is exactly that is.
Maybe we need to get like a health guru as a sponsor that can just kind of.
You mean like a doctor?
That too.
That weighs in more.
Exactly. Take care of all of us.
Oh, yeah. What kind of doctor would we have tomorrow?
I don't know. I got to do a phone call. Oh, boy. Going well.
Yeah. That was a lot.
That was very long. That's at least so far people are texting in and not calling.
All right. For some reason, we can't broadcast on Facebook right now.
Oh. Okay. Going well.
No,
The whole thing's falling apart.
you know what? I actually did see this on StreamYard. I think that we were going to lose.
We're gonna have to do some research, everybody.
Are going to have to do some research.
We're gonna have to do some research. We're good. The whole thing is
We're going to have
unglued.
to say we're going to have to say on the air that people, if they normally watch on Facebook, they need to just get on YouTube.
Go to the YouTube channel.
Yeah. We do have a Facebook crowd.
LeVar, I think we finally took that green screen down.
It actually stopped working.
Oh, it stopped
Now
working.
it says device is not connected.
Oh. Welcome to Tuesday morning. Welcome to Tuesday morning. Yeah, I think you might just have to do something on Facebook or replug it back in. I'm not sure.
We might have to log in. I don't know how to log in. I mean, that's what it's asking. It says reconnect.
Yeah, I can get this information later. 803-404-6100. Just again, moving past the South Carolina Tennessee game. If you want to weigh in this morning, again, I know yesterday Columbus Day. Some of you maybe not having the chance to weigh in. You were sleeping in. Totally understandable. Would have liked to have been right there with you on that sleeping in. But we were up. We were doing a radio show, and we had plenty of callers and texters and tweeters and everybody weighing in. If you want to weigh in on the live stream, Patrick, we got an issue with the live stream this morning where people need to go.
Yeah, it's not working on the Facebook right now. So if you are one of our normal Facebook live stream viewers and wondering why is the live stream not up today, it's not up on Facebook. You're gonna have to go to the YouTube and subscribe to the page. I guess you don't have to subscribe to watch, but we would like you to subscribe.
We would like to, yes,
before
yes.
you watch.
So yeah,
Then you can comment.
That's how you can, if you typically watch the live stream. We've got it. We figured out how to make it work. Semi. Here in the studios, we've made our return. The camera that they provided to us, though, provides a green screen. It's very interesting. It's Halloweenish as we count down the days to some trick-or-treating. But yeah, if you want to join us on the live stream this morning, 107.5 The Game, the YouTube
You
channel.
dressing up this year, by the way?
I haven't made it that far on the decision making. I'm kind of a last. I got things going on in the next few weeks. There's the fair starts tomorrow. By the way, the fair starts tomorrow. If you are unaware of that. I'm going to Vegas in 2 weeks. Like, there's things that are going to happen in my life prior to Halloween that'll dictate how much I get involved on Halloween weekend. Sunday night being the Halloween.
Yeah, that makes it weird.
As we get closer, I'm not sure if people will do the trick or treating thing on the Saturday night to be able to enjoy it longer and party a little bit more, or if they'll move the trick or treating till Sunday.
What about adults? I mean, I'm not trick.
Saturday night parties.
Yeah,
there'll be the big parties will be on Saturday.
And I hate Halloween, and I hate dressing up.
You do seem like
But
a person who would hate
I
fun.
have to do it this year. And I was discussing costumes last night. I think it would be Kip from Napoleon Dynamite, because I have a mustache right now.
You do have, yes, you could fit that role very well. So there's now if you're out and about and you see Patrick,
Or I'll take mustached Halloween costume suggestions.
Is it
That
going-
would be a fun twist to the text line right now. I would appreciate that.
is Ted Lasso going to be the overriding?
No, the overriding Halloween costume this year is going to be Squid Game, because it just came out, and it's very easy. All people have to do is get a green jumpsuit or a pink whatever it's called suit. That is going to be by far and away the #1 Halloween costume this year, because it just came out, fresh in everyone's minds, and it's easy. I think they're already selling out of those costumes all over the place.
We've still got to work through fair food before we get to your Halloween costumes. We'll do that. We have a lot to work through, especially just in the next 2 hours. Again, if you want to weigh in this morning, Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines, 803-404-6100. Some of you are weighing in. JB weighs in, kind of just discussing the talent level of, I guess, both Tennessee and South Carolina. Kentucky and South Carolina. JB says, Patrick, I do believe if Tennessee and South Carolina switched offensive coordinators, we would be a better offense. We're 5 games in and still have not identified what we do well. No identity at all on offense. And, that's kind of, look, the running game has certainly not lived up to what they thought it would be. The passing game started off a little bit better. Let's not act like it was, the late 90s Colts out there with Kirk Warner and Isaac Bruce running around on the turf. But, the bottom line is, what you've got here is an offense that is trying to figure out what they do. That's just something to get you through the back half of the season that you can hang your hat on when you go into a game and say, okay, we know we can at least run the ball for, say, 170 yards per game, and then we can build the passing game off of that. Or I know Luke Doty can throw it around the yard. We can hit the intermediate passes, which will free up maybe some swing passes and some deep passes. I agree with what JB's saying. We don't know what South Carolina does well offensively just yet.
Well, so I mean,
or if they, by the way, let me finish that with saying, or if they can do anything well at all.
I already did the Josh Heupel question, but I guess the second question would be, what would people think if Mike Bubba was the offensive coordinator right now? Would the win column be any different right now?
So it's an interesting question, one that we could follow as we move through. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. A couple people weighing in this morning on costume suggestions for you. Rooster P says Doc Holliday from Tombstone. I could get on board with that. That's a pretty good one. And then back-to-back text, anonymous texter and David both weighing in with Ron Burgundy. You could go the Ron Burgundy. You let the hair grow out a little bit more there is the potential for that. So you've got a couple of different options there for your.
Kentucky Joe said White Goodman from dodgeball.
You do have a White Goodman type
I
look to
can't wear
you.
anything tight right now though, and he wears very tight clothes.
Keep sending them in. We'll give Patrick some costume ideas. I guess it's never too early to start the costume ideas. So you keep sending those in. If you want to weigh in on South Carolina and Tennessee, again, we'll close the book on that here this morning. As Shane Beamer speaking to the media later today about 1:15. You can hear right here on 107.5 The Game. Hour 1 in the books. We'll do another hour. We'll do 2 more. How about that? We'll do 2 more if you want to join us. Live stream is up and rolling. You can hit us up. Love Chevy. Phone lines, Cool Care Heating and Air text line 803-404-6100. Rolling along on a Tuesday morning. It's the early game on 107.5 The
Sorry, I
Game.
didn't mean to make you panic.
Yeah, I was gonna go run and hit the button because I had no idea where Jim was, and so we missed our first time. I guess it doesn't really matter when we hit. Take the extra minute.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right. Welcome in, Tomboy. Usual Facebook, yes.
Thanks for joining us.
4-2 with Boba. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. I don't know. I got to walk around for a second. Continue to loosen up the old.
We need to regrip your putter, though.
Actually played golf better than I expected with the issue yesterday.
We need to get him like a little cart to push you around. Maybe during the breaks we can do like stretching with Bill.
So Kentucky's a win in this case. Can't really disagree with that. Three fantasy games. I think I'm 3-2. Let's see, 3-2, 3-2, and 4-1. Is that right? No, I'm 3-1-1, 3-2, and 3-2. Because one of my leagues, whoever the commissioner is rounding up to whole points. I don't know if anybody's played in a whole point league, but it's dumb. I tied somebody 132 to 132. I have Calvin Ridley on 2 of my teams, and he decided to take a personal day. Sunday, I was not happy about that.
Yeah, how many points did Herbert put up? That was one of the most entertaining games I've watched in a very long time. I think, 5 touchdowns in the fourth quarter? Something like that. Every time they got the ball, they scored. Justin Herbert's just a stud. $40-something. I don't even know really what his final line was. I just know he was money. 398 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oif. And he ran for what did he run for?
That was right.
Rushing. 29 yards and a touchdown. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Stud. And Baker did. Ran for 5 and 2 touchdowns. Still pretty good. Who mentioned the Ravens game? Cool. I need to, I guess, switch to Sports Center here so I can actually watch that because it seems like that was a wild ending. Yeah, to ESPN. I want to see the highlights of the Ravens game. On Monday night, Lamar Jackson set the NFL record for completion percentage in a 400-yard passing game and a 40-attempt passing game. It was also, what was the other thing? We're back.
Back.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oops.
Your Tuesday morning episode. If you weren't on the live stream, Patrick, it looks like you are getting into some NFL talk there. Is that what we got?
We're talking fantasy.
Fantasy football. Oh, it's a big, yes, fantasy. You got one team this year, right?
I have 3 teams this year.
3 teams. So you guys
This is the most I've ever had. I've only ever had 1 team.
Oh, okay. How's it going for you?
I'm 3-2, 3-2, and 3-1-1.
Okay, sounds like.
I didn't know you could die in fantasy football.
Is that hard to keep up with, that many?
Kind of, because I kind of know who's on my team, and I purposely drafted. I probably overdrafted people to make sure that there was continuity amongst my 3 teams. So Kyler Murray's my quarterback on all 3 teams. Made sure of that. Draft him as the first quarterback. Calvin Ridley on 2 teams. Couple guys that are on all my teams, but I can never keep up with who I'm playing against. I don't even bother to look at who I'm playing against so that I don't get upset when I'm watching. I just cheer for my guys.
There you
I
go.
just keep it positive.
Look at positivity. See? We're
As
just talking
usual.
about that.
Yeah.
So if you've got fantasy questions, you can ask Patrick this morning, and then he'll weigh in on what's good. Fantasy football has never been my thing, and I've been actually very brutal at that throughout the years. I've never gotten into fantasy. I forget about a team that I have. I'm the person who has like 6 guys on a bye week, and I've still got them in my starting lineup, giving somebody an easy victory. So I've never been able to do the whole fantasy baseball, football, basketball type deal. So, but we got Patrick here, fantasy guru, along with the NFL guru. Your sports headlines from last night did involve the NFL. The big one, John Gruden resigning from the Las Vegas Raiders last night due to emails that were discovered. Were they leaked? Is this? I mean, it's leaked emails through the years, using some inappropriate language is what we'll go with. This was not something relatively new. I believe I saw where it goes back to 2011. Some of it involving Roger Goodell and referencing him. It's kind of just a wild story. The New York Times was the first to report that Gruden used the offensive language in numerous emails during a 7-year period. I don't know what really to make of this. Gruden is an interesting NFL character. He's somebody that I kind of, if the Raiders were on, I'd watch a few plays, a series or two. If it was a Monday night game, I'd be a little bit more likely to watch. I don't know if this is the end of John Gruden in the NFL as we know it, or if he'll be given a second chance either by a team or again by a network to bring him in as an analyst. It's hard to say exactly what's going to happen here. In the interim, for those wondering, Rich Bisaccia, who is, I think that's how you say his name, has been discussed at times around here for head coaching vacancies when South Carolina has one, and we've never really understood why. But he will be the interim head coach and actually meet with the media during availability on Wednesday. But Patrick, I think the big question is what happens to John Gruden now? Is this the end of us seeing John Gruden in any shape or form on television or in the NFL?
I think it's the end of us seeing him on cable television. I don't know if he'll try and do his own thing or do a podcast with his brother or something. I know his brother has been trying to get into the booth and call games. Jay Gruden, former coach of Washington football team. But I can't imagine he's getting another job in the NFL, and I can't imagine he's getting another job in media. I'm curious how much money he's going to make here when he resigns. I think he probably does he forfeit all of his 7 years, $70 million remaining? Probably. Not that he really needs it. He's got a lot of money. I assume he's just going to go sit on the beach somewhere, and that's going to be that. Didn't he used to do the Corona commercials before Tony Romo? I think he did.
Did he?
For sure he did.
Okay, can't think that far back, guy. Yeah,
That's probably what he's going to do, and that's probably what I would advise him to do if I was anywhere near his inner circle. Just, you're rich. How old is John Gruden, if you had to guess, before we even look it up?
56. I'll go 56 on the John Gruden age thing.
58.
58. Okay. Yeah. The story popped out last night. I really was not following it. I was involved in the other kind of sports stories that were last night. Atlanta Braves yesterday afternoon take a 2-1 lead over the Milwaukee Brewers in their series. The Boston Red Sox last night, a 6-5 winner. That was a great series. Some really great baseball played. Boston got out to a 5-0 lead yesterday afternoon or last night, and then Tampa rallying to score 5 and tie the ball game, and then Boston with a walk-off in the ninth to win 6-5, and then late last night did not stay up, but San Francisco knocking off the Dodgers 1-0. San Francisco taking a 2-1 lead in that series. The fourth series going on right now. Houston leads the Chicago White Sox 2-1. That game yesterday was postponed, so you'll have more Major League Baseball today. And again, Patrick, I'm not gonna lie, I do like Major League Baseball today. We have that game 4 at 2:07. Houston and the Chicago White Sox, the Atlanta Braves, 5:15 tonight. Milwaukee at Atlanta, and then the late game tonight, San Francisco at Los Angeles. So the Braves looking to finish off the Milwaukee Brewers and advance to the National League Championship Series. You're a Nationals guy. I don't think you've ever gotten into the Braves. I know people around here get into the Braves, and at least it's a fun time of the year to see them competing. And at least, look, I'm all in on a Boston Atlanta World Series. I was trying to think the other day because you were kind of asking, all right, you asked at the beginning of the program, like, hey, when did you get into baseball, or when did you start really, like, certain series make me happy. I'll be more in tune. Tampa and Boston was one of those series. I can't get into Houston and the White Sox. There's really nothing there. Matter of fact, I was watching a little bit of it the other night. It's got to be a record for the two oldest coaches, managers, whatever you want to call them. Tony La Russa. No, I meant coaches, managers, like across the board. Like when two teams have met in the playoffs. I mean, coaches in football, managers in baseball, across the board. This has got to be the oldest combined age. Dusty Baker is managing for the Houston Astros, which caught me completely off guard when they showed a screen. They had a television angle into the dugout of the Astros, and I saw Dusty Baker. He's 72. Tony La Russa's got to be 75 or 76. I didn't go back and look the other night, but I believe one was managing the San Francisco
The roof is 77.
77. So 100. Oh, good math. 149 years, the combined age of the two managers there. Again, that's got to
That's
top.
bigger. The first manager to win a division title with 5 different teams.
Yeah.
Zero
And
respect
I mean, he's,
for
by the way, he's
Washington.
really good. I'm not trying to put either one down. I just was amazed
Well,
when I
Tony
read
La
this.
Russa, I thought he was not going to make it when. Was it this season where he got
Yes.
mad at the guy for hitting a home run after he'd been stuck in the minors?
Yeah.
And it was like 14-2 or something like that.
Mhm.
Huh. I guess they fixed that.
Season. Well, no, the White Sox are a very, very talented young team. That was part of the argument, is that you've got La Russa, kind of the older guy, managing a very young kind of. They
They have a lot of personality, right?
Let's go with personality. That's a great way to describe it. A great way to describe it. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Kyle weighs in, and this was actually what I was thinking about. He says, how many times has Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa met in the playoffs? That's a great question. I was trying to think back, Kyle, if Baker and La Russa were the managers during the earthquake game. I think Baker didn't start with the Giants until 93, and I think the earthquake series out there was either late 80s or 91, I believe. So I don't think that they were managing against each other, but it's something to see those two still going, and quite impressive.
This is a headline from an article, or I guess a tweet. Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker were on the same team when he took their last MLB at-bat 15 years apart. They have managed against each other 208 times. Each has won 104 times.
Okay, so they've got that game. You've got the White Sox and the Astros again today at 2 o'clock. Braves, Brewers, 5:15. Braves can advance. And right now, the other series there, the Giants and the Dodgers at 9 o'clock tonight. And that game, 9:07 official first pitch time, by the way, if you're really wondering. That game will be in Los Angeles, but San Francisco leads 2-1. So there's your kind of breakdown. The other thing going on tonight, I know all of you are very fired up for the information I'm about to give you. Patrick is probably really fired up. I'm semi-fired up. Opening night, Patrick. Hockey,
Yeah.
the NHL.
Yeah.
You and I banged the drum for the NHL. I know everybody out there right now, as we inform you of this, it's 7:12 on a Tuesday morning. All of you probably are just gung-ho. You're just now realizing that the NHL is back tonight. They've got a new television deal. Pittsburgh is at the defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning tonight, 7:30 on ESPN. And then the Seattle Kraken make their NHL debut against the Vegas Golden Knights at 10:15. So get fired up, folks. NHL back tonight. By the way, next Tuesday is opening night for the NBA. So we are getting into that portion of the year.
Don't face off till tomorrow.
Yeah. So it's all kinds of things. Thank you to Anonymous Texter for weighing in. The earthquake series was in 1989, and David telling me Roger Craig was the manager for the Giants. We have some very, very informed listeners. I appreciate everybody helping us out this morning. If you need to help us out because we get something wrong, we sound like idiots, we're appreciative. 803. Are you giggling? It happens. It's a morning show. Sometimes we get tongue-tied. Sometimes, again, things happen. Boring. That's right. So yeah. When we mess up, when I sound dumb, feel free to weigh in. 803-404.
Idiots is harsh. That's harsh to us.
Well, but we can be that sometimes.
Dumb is kind of lovable, but idiots is just.
I don't know.
Idiots kind of stings.
It is what it is. It is what it is. You're welcome to join us. Huh?
Yeah.
Cute movie. Again, a movie that didn't need to have a sequel yet. Somehow they still did that, which was completely unnecessary.
Have an original.
Huh?
We've been through this.
Yeah. We don't need. We're not go down that path. 803-404-6100. You want to weigh in this morning? Feel free. Love Chevy phone line, School Care Heating and Air text line. The live stream is up and going. You can see the beautiful smiling faces. That is myself, Jen, and Patrick. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Nothing here, right? Okay. Yes. There was something I was going to do in between there.
All 3 breaks this hour.
Ready for bed.
Yeah, I myself am kind of tired.
You know, if you go to send a text, the best thing to do is once you type it, to hit send.
What was that? Oh,
Where was it?
Hmm?
It's good. Oh, that's true.
oh, you're responding. You said something about the best thing you do is hit send.
Yeah, because I was sending you a text for this hour's lives, but I never hit send, so you didn't get it. Genius. Let's try this. Okay, and we do have Perry today at 7:30, correct?
Yes. Forgot about that.
Did you talk to him?
No. I guess I should go call him.
Wait, so Jock Peterson doesn't start for the Braves?
Oh, crap. Oh.
Do you need the number?
Hmm? You're kind of far away.
Do you need the number? Yes, it does. All right, Tim. Oh, no.
Like 4, 3.5. Like 3.5, 4. Yeah, good. Patrick's working hard on his connection. Bill's off getting his makeup touched up.
I plugged my laptop in, but forgot to plug the power part of it in. There we go.
And yes, Troy, I'm very guilty of that. I get typing, I get distracted. And I'll go back later. Oh, that would have been helpful had I actually hit send. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yep. I'll do that.
Is that a yes? Like he's awake?
Right.
It is in case. Yes, I do miss the lake view.
More importantly, I miss how when the sun is out, it obscures your face a little bit so that we can't always see it. He's just ignoring me. It's okay.
What?
What?
His speaker's off. It's weird. We have an echo in each other's computers now.
No clue.
All right, let's head back in.
Deuce McAllister's calling the Vanderbilt game. That's not fun. Never heard Deuce call the game.
Calling the Vanderbilt game?
Yeah. Where Deuce McAllister go to college?
Ole Miss.
Is he from Mississippi?
Not sure on that one.
Little Mississippi.
Exactly, Troy.
We were discussing earlier ideas for Patrick's Halloween costume, something mustache theming. A couple people said Ron Burgundy. We got a White Goodman reference. That was pretty good. I like that one. Ted Lasso is still kind of out there hanging around. So Halloween's still to go. Then you got to get through Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday of the year now. As I get older, Halloween is certainly the one that we go to, and then of course you get to Christmas, and everybody knows Christmas is the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and they are coming back to Columbia Wednesday, December 8th at the Colonial Life Arena. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. Tickets are on sale now. You can purchase tickets again. Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming to Colonial Life Arena Wednesday, December 8th at the Colonial Life Arena. Again, a great cause there. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. Tickets are on sale now. 803-404-6100. How you can join us. We were bringing up in the last segment. It was a random thing that I just kind of brought up when we were talking about Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker facing off this afternoon. They've been playing game 4 this afternoon, but the White Sox and the Astros, the two managers, the combined age 149 years there. I figured it had to be the oldest. Appreciate the anonymous texter who had never texted before. Appreciate you weighing in. He says Bobby Bowden and Joe Paterno in the January 2006 Orange Bowl. Bowden was 76, Paterno was 79. That's pretty solid as well in terms of age.
What's that come out to?
That is going to be 155, buddy.
Nice.
155.
Nice.
So they got just a few extra years. So if you got another one, 803-404-6100. Talking a little Gamecock football as well as the Major League Baseball playoffs. Again, Shane Beamer will speak with the media today at 1:15. And as we move forward, Patrick, and we talk about the game this coming weekend, Vanderbilt obviously in town. This is not a good Vanderbilt team. Don hit us up on the live stream earlier, and he made a good point. And I don't know where people are through 6 games. I knew the honeymoon would last for 9 months with Shane Beamer. He was going to be ultra positive. It's what South Carolina needed. It's what the fan base needed. Everybody kind of needed that jolt of positivity in their life after the last 2 years, 4 wins, 2 wins, so forth, everything that had happened. Now you get into week 7 of Shane Beamer talking about his team's upcoming game. And Don hit us up earlier and said, Shane's not going to try and sell us on Vanderbilt being a good team today, correct? What do you want to hear from Shane Beamer today that is realistic? I get it. Like the people who say, oh, you got to ask him the tough questions, get in there and really hold his feet to the fire for the offensive coordinator and what's happening. And look, I know that that's what people say that they would ask if given the opportunity. It's not really how it works, because you're not going to get the answer. It's going to get combative. You try and get the best. I'll be honest, those people that go to the press conferences, they're usually working on an article, something that they want to write for their organization. They're going to ask the questions that fit the needs for that article. But what do you want to hear from Shane Beamer today, knowing that it's going to be a positive press conference? He's going to tell you the team is playing hard and that they're not far away and that they believe. And I don't know what he's going to say about Vanderbilt, because Don's right. You might not want to sell us on Vanderbilt being a good football team.
I was thinking about this. I don't know what people want to hear him criticize Marcus Satterfield more than anything, right? That's what I'm waiting for. Maybe, hey, we ran too many trick plays. We need to just line up and play football. Like, I think that's what people want to hear, and they'll say, we're going to do that. We need to create an identity, and our identity is not going to be getting cute at the wrong times and trying to run trick plays that result in turnovers or minimal gains. Like, I can't imagine anything else that'll make people feel better. He already answered the defensive end pass question in post game.
Mm-hmm.
He can't go back on that and then come back and say, yeah, well, you know what, we weren't confident in our offensive line at the time, but in hindsight, we should have been, and next time we will be. Like, you can't do any of that. Nothing he says about Vanderbilt is going to make people happy. If he gives them the bulletin board material, people won't be happy. And if he treats them like they're Alabama, people won't be happy. I mean, I don't know that there's anything that can satisfy people today. I mean, other than criticizing the offense coordinator, which people don't expect them to do.
According to Vegas Insider, this line opened at 16. It is up to 18.5, 18 in some books, over under 50.5 to 51. Again, Vanderbilt, we've discussed this. Vanderbilt has not scored in SEC play. Now, mind you, they did play Florida and Georgia, but they've been outscored in SEC play 104-0. They did score, Patrick pointed out yesterday, 23 points in a 41-23 loss to Stanford, in which they were a 13-point underdog. They were also beaten by East Tennessee State to open the season 23-3. This is not a team that's really an offensive juggernaut. Quite frankly, defensively, they've got issues. If there is such a thing as a get well game, if this is such a thing, this is probably the easiest opponent you've had since Eastern Illinois. I don't know if having a great day offensively against Vanderbilt on Saturday makes people call back in next Monday or Tuesday and go, oh, okay, good, we've turned the corner. But it at least would help, right? The mentality going out to Texas A&M, which will be a 7:30 primetime kick, SEC Network, so you'll get the full force of the night game in Aggie land. But being able to go out and generate some offense, either run the football or hit some downfield shots on a Vanderbilt team that is willing to give that up, would it make people feel better, or are people just going to go ahead and chalk it up to, hey, it's Vanderbilt, doesn't really matter?
I think people are going to chalk it up and go, hey, that's Vanderbilt. But a cover is a cover. And if it's 16 points, and I actually think it's bumped up to 18, between 18 and 20 at this point, if you win by 3 touchdowns, that actually means something, because I guess it's a Power 5 team, but where does Vanderbilt stack up against East Carolina and Troy? Do we know where they're in the power rankings right now?
Depends which power. Are you buying in? By the way, just to say, are you buying into the ESPN power rankings, because they're ridiculous?
No.
They're absolutely ridiculous. So what power?
Is it the FPI?
Yeah. What power? If you want to look at a power rankings, I don't.
That whole thing where we read through like the entire athletic list, the list from the Athletic. I think PFF ranks them. I'd accept any of those. But whatever the FPI is, that was the thing that ranked Mississippi State as like a top 10 team.
803-404-6100. Again, Shane Beamer will talk today at 1:15, and anonymous texter weighs in. I agree with this. He says he's not going to criticize his coach publicly. He'll say they need to do better. I personally would not want my coach to throw his assistants under the bus. And yeah, Shane can't do that. Like, if you're expecting him to go out and
throw under the bus, insinuate that they were not in the wrong, but were blamed for something.
He would be blaming them for.
It's not throwing under the bus if it is his fault.
But Shane has said he could have vetoed the call, the Jordan Burch call. He could have, and he said he could have. And I'm with the anonymous texter. Yeah, that's not going to be Shane Beamer's style. He does have a good reputation in college football. He's well liked. That doesn't mean that coaches are coming out of the woodwork to go work for him. Don't please take it that way. That's not what I mean. What the point of that is he's not. Nick Saban is not afraid to admonish. Well, Lord knows we've seen on the sideline, Nick Saban is not afraid to admonish certain assistant coaches. He'll do it in press conferences. You're not going to get that from Shane Beamer. Again, a lot of what happens down there probably happens behind closed doors, things that we're unaware of. I do agree with you. He'll be ultra positive today. He'll talk about some things that will probably anger folks, but I'm with the anonymous texter here. He's not going to do that to assistant coaches. You're not going to get him coming out today saying anything negative about Marcus Satterfield. So if that's what you're planning on, you're not going to get what you want.
How are people going to respond to the impassioned plea to get out to the game? We need a crowd. People aren't going to like that, but it's coming.
Yeah.
We know it's coming.
How's he
going to spin that? We're sorry we played bad last week. Please come to the game.
Yeah. Also not going to happen. Not going to go over well. Not going to go over well. We'll get an input, an opinion from somebody who knows far more about football and what they're talking about than we do. Perry Orth joining us next. If you want to listen in, you don't need to go anywhere. You can join us on the live stream. You can stay right here.
Too.
Ask questions. Yes, we'll ask questions of Perry. Your questions to Perry. All kinds of stuff for Perry Orth next. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. You know, it'd actually be cool is if we got Perry out around like a pool setting with a fire pit and just started asking him questions. You know, we'd all just raise our hand, ask him questions. That'd be really neat. I mean, that'd be a unique setting because even during the off season, you're not jumping in your pool, but maybe you're using it for a nice Christmas party. Maybe on Thanksgiving Day, you're deep frying the turkey out there. You're going to have some TVs set up. You're going to enjoy a little bit of football. Bottom line, that pool area that you have in your backyard continues to be used, and you don't want your pool turning green, mucky. You don't want mosquitoes building up in there and coming and biting you. That's no fun. You need to continue to maintain your pool even during the off season. Call Corley Pool Solutions 803-445-8109. Flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. Tracy Corley has 20 years of experience in the business and is ready to help keep that pool looking great. It's actually more affordable to keep your pool maintained during the off season than to start all over again in the spring, February or March. Then you got to put a whole bunch of new chemicals in there. You got to work on the pH balances. Go ahead and maintain that pool during the off season. Again, far more affordable. Plus, let's be honest, you got a fire pit back there. Maybe you go out there in the evening when it's kind of nice and enjoy the pool. You might not be jumping into it, but you can enjoy the ambiance of your backyard if you've got a pool back there. 803-445-8109. That's Corley Pool Solutions. I will actually respond to that.
What, the Facebook Live?
Yeah.
I'll
You
send
want,
her the link.
okay. I don't know why, like about this time, it gets cold in here. Oh. So I guess Justin Hall is coming back in here now. Did you take him your equipment on Friday?
Yeah, I told him he'd have to give it back. Or at least not until the first week of November, because I will be in Nashville for that week.
Or if we go when?
November. So I said I could do a remote, and was told if we don't have someone to fill in, we'll do that. So no one else. So I assume I'll do a remote. 5 a.m., but it is what it is.
Oh, he's coming unglued, folks. Got some of this. Good morning, Hope. Oh. How is Larry Johnson on hold, but is also calling in? He's got something. Need to maybe like get past this week and start thinking about trying to get a few more.
Perry,
Yeah,
yours is fired up and ready.
Yeah, it hurt.
Right.
107.5 The Game.
Hey, you probably, if you mute yourself and turn your thing on so they can hear through, hopefully they can hear, turn the thing up so they can hear Perry through you in there.
Okay.
Rolling along on a Tuesday morning. I want to let you know this coming Friday, you can go out and join Tommy Moody. That's right. Go ask him some old-timey trivia questions out there at Sam's Club. The ultimate tailgate at Sam's Club on Forest Drive. Oh, yeah, Jay Phillips will be there too. But let's be honest, Tommy Moody's the star of that show. 1 to 4 p.m., Sam's Club. The ultimate tailgate will be hosting a huge pep rally in the parking lot with support from our friends at Dr. Pepper, Kingsford, Goodyear, Cheez-Its, Pop-Tart Bites, M&M's, MasterCard, and more. You can come join. That says us. I'm supposed to read us, but Patrick, you're not going to be there, right? No, I'm not going to be there. Jen, you're not going, are you? We're not. Tommy, we're sending the face of the station out there. We send the big guns out there for something like this, Tommy Moody. So go join Tommy and his sidekick, Jay Phillips, this coming Friday, 1 to 4 p.m. at Sam's Club. It's the Sam's Club Ultimate Tailgate on Forest Drive. They'll be hosting a huge pep rally in the parking lot. Again, a lot of fun stuff going on the Sam's Club on Forest Drive this coming Friday. The face of our program, the young, energetic, dual threat. I think he's a mustacheless face too. Perry, you have a mustache? We haven't seen you in forever. Has there been mustache growth, or you're married now? You really don't have control of your face anymore, and you're told whether you get to wear a beard or not. What's going on with the face there?
No doubt. No, I rocked a mustache for Camden game, which was about a month ago, but quickly shaved it off when I realized that it looked like somebody had patched or colored a mustache on, and so I decided to shave and go back to the normal clean cut kind of look. Working on the consistent shaving, try to get that facial hair a little thicker, but we're one day at a time.
One day at a time. One day at a time. That is a great lead into where South Carolina football as a whole is right now, 6 games into the Shane Beamer era. And look, there's no easy softball question I can ask you. Just your thoughts on the offense on Saturday, and right now what you're seeing, because obviously a lot of people are upset with Satterfield. They're upset with Shane Beamer. They're upset with anybody who's calling defensive linemen to throw a pass from the 1-yard line. I wish I could be nicer and sugarcoat it a little bit better, but what did you see this Saturday from this offense?
Yeah, there were at times where we did some really good things, actually. Everybody, we want to highlight the second and goal call on the goal line where Birch did that pass. But, I was pleased to see us mix up the run game a little bit. We ran some gap scheme like we talked about last week. We ran a couple powers. Actually, Kevin Harris' touchdown he scored on was on a power run. We actually did at times run inside zone pretty well. But anytime you get punched in the mouth like that, you drop 28 points within a blink of an eye. You're 40 minutes into a ball game, 40 minutes as in like 40 minutes real time, and you're already down 28-0. your game plan goes out the window. Now it's like we just got to do anything at this point to salvage and make it a game, and that ruins any offense. But yeah, we did struggle again. We were not very consistent. I go on Jamie Bradford's show down in Charleston every Monday, and I think our biggest flaw right now is we are not creating chunk plays. We're not having explosive plays. And anytime you limit your offense and require them to drive the length of the field every single drive, it's going to be really hard to score a lot of points. I mean, you look at the best offenses in the country, and they're not having 5, 6, 7 drives a game that are sustained of 60 and 70 yards. Now, they may have 3 or 4, maybe, but they're going to have 2 or 3, 4 plays, 65 yards, with a 45-yard touchdown score, right? We have to manufacture explosive plays on offense, or we're going to continue to see the same result.
How do you see the evolution through 6 games of this offense? You're a play caller, and you've stood on the sideline next to Steve Spurrier. You've heard him diagnose. I guess that had to be kind of interesting. I never really thought to ask you as you stood next to him or around him to listen to him as he kind of walked me just back through that, because Steve Spurrier is one of the best play callers that's ever patrolled a sideline in college football. And just either the feel he had, or whether he was mumbling to himself or somebody on the headset, what was it like listening to Steve Spurrier?
Well, I think with Coach, he had a way of allowing the game to come to him. I notice a lot of coaches now, they like to script out their first 10 plays. All right, we're going to script the first 2 drives, and then from then on, then we'll get a good feel. Coach would even script practice. I mean, he'd go out there and just call plays right off his hip just as they came to him. He had an incredible, almost photographic memory, to where he would sit there on the sideline and be like, all right, and he would mention on the headset, all right, back in 11, what did we call that play? And then somebody would mention it, and then he'd call it. And then, Coach Mangus or Steve Jr. would help kind of relay the message of, hey, this is what he actually means, and translate it into more of a current play that we had. But he really allowed it to come to him. And play calling is really an art. There's no science to it. It's you have to allow it to come to you. And sometimes it's instinctual. And anytime you get in that strict, rigid of, all right, 2nd and 5, these are my 3 plays. Well, they may not be doing cover 2 on 2nd and 5 like they showed on film all week, right? They may have had a game plan specifically for you to say, like, hey, on 2nd and medium, these guys love to run inside zone. So I'm going to bring an extra hat in the box, play man-to-man, and take that run away from them. Where in film all week, they're a cover 2 team. So we're thinking, oh, easy inside zone call. There's an extra hat out of the box. And instead of allowing the game to happen and seeing the field, sometimes coaches get in a routine of script. And I'm not saying that's what's happening. I honestly have no idea how they're calling plays. I'm just more so answering your question.
Right.
That coach really did allow the game to come to him.
How complicated, this is a question off the live stream from RL, and kind of how complicated would you describe the playbook, whether it was for wide receivers, for quarterbacks? How complicated would you describe Spurrier's playbook, and even that of another one that you went through with Kurt Roper?
Yeah, it wasn't complicated. I think learning plays, everybody really runs the same plays, man. You go and you watch. I really noticed it when I got done playing that, because we going from Coach Spurrier, going from high school to Coach Spurrier to Kurt Roper, and then to learning some plays and coaching here in high school, and then just watching football on TV. People run the same plays. It's just a matter of when you call them and how you dress it up, right? Ultimately, when you're playing a team that runs cover 3 the majority of the game, you have your areas of the field that are going to be open regardless if it's Alabama or if it's AC Flora, right? So we, Coach had a way of really finding a way to dress it up in the sense of the defense thinks we're going to do this, but actually we're going here. And that's what made them so good. And Coach Roper had a tendency to do that too, but for whatever reason, we would continue to shoot ourselves in the foot whenever we would get drives going. But I mean, obviously, none was better than Coach Spurrier.
He's Perry Orth. We're listening to him drop insight on us, much smarter than Patrick and I, and with the baby face too, because Patrick's got a mustache. I got an old man gray and salt and pepper beard going on. So we'll continue listening to Perry, the brains of the operation here on the early game. Perry, hang around with us. We don't want you to go anywhere. We need more great insight from you. Is that all right? You're not going anywhere, right?
Nope, we're good right here.
He's right there.
We got to talk about the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah, you got all kinds of stuff for you.
Urban Meyer says Trevor Lawrence doesn't know how to QB sneak.
That's the one deal. We're not talking about the Jags on here.
Okay, all right. We'll do whatever it takes to keep Perry around. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Live, local, and free.
Okay.
That's how we do sports. 107.5 The Game. Feel free to call and complain if you wish.
You should call that radio station and let it have it.
Remember, we are free of charge, after all.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com. Farrell Road at 277, working that earlier accident. Also have a report of a tie-up I-77 southbound at Blythewood Road and Sloan Road at North Brickyard Road. You might encounter a slowdown there. Weather-wise, 81 for the high today, clouds and sun, 83 tomorrow under mostly sunny skies. Right now, it's 69 at 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by News Nation. All too often, the media are ignoring the everyday heroics of our policemen and women. Well, that changes on News Nation. Dan Abrams and his live PD sidekick Sticks are back in prime time on Dan Abrams Live, weeknights at 8, 7 Central on News Nation.
One more.
One more.
Joe Jackson, one of the
Right.
greatest hitters in
If you like
baseball's
me.
early 20th century, began as a pitcher.
I'm
His
ready
pitches
for
were fearsome. Mild-mannered Jackson quit pitching after he broke a batter's arm. He focused on hitting and became the best. He would use only bats cut from the north side of a hickory tree and only after they had been marinated in a bath of his own tobacco juice. When asked where he learned his
Get into
skills, he explained that he had learned
Let's see.
baseball from a Civil War veteran who learned the game from Yankee POW.
We'll come back. How much time do you think we'll have?
Joe always believed that if something as beautiful as his baseball career could come out of an experience.
You know, Perry's a big a noted Bear guy.
Oh, is he?
No matter what life has dealt you.
I'm glad you're here to hear these things.
Can lead to some really good ones. This is
4 or 5
Mr.
minutes.
Stephen Chitty from Christian Life.
Or
Remember, friend, life matters.
4 or 5 minutes.
Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person
4 or 5 minutes.
Oh, perfect. 4 or 5 minutes. Plenty of time. That's a question about comparing the offensive system his first year to this year, what he's seeing, and then a fair question.
Perfect.
Rip Island Resort.
What are the special days for the fair?
They don't really have like special days anymore like that.
It's not like an all-you-can-ride day.
Every day they've got them.
I've never been on Maryland State Fair. Do kids get off for the state fair here from school?
So like my kids are off the 22nd. So not this Friday, but the following Friday
Because of the state fair?
because of the state fair. Yeah.
We got off for the county fair. I know.
Oh, that's right, Hope. Good point. College football, Appalachian State and Lafayette tonight. Actually, a good game. So you got the Braves at 5. Yeah, App State, Louisiana.
All
I
right.
forgot about that. Thank you.
We were about to head back in.
I didn't sleep well. Didn't knees bother me. That's right, Troy. You just sit around. We can all just sit around. Quiz Perry Orth.
All right. All right, bring it back up.
Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen rolling you through a Tuesday morning. Some of you back to work today, taking Columbus Day off, well-known day off around here in the Midlands, of course. Some of you involved in day 2 of work this week. Perry Orth joining us here. Just a few more minutes with him. Perry, Patrick pointed out off air, you're not in studio with us, so you didn't hear him, but Patrick pointed out, is this week kind of your Christmas week because of a big event happening, opening on Wednesday?
Oh, yeah, no, good point. It is. It is very Christmas-esque this week in the Orth household. And you better believe where I'll be Wednesday night. And that would be the State Fair in South Carolina. It's after COVID has attempted to ruin everyone's lives and take the fair from us. It's back, and I'm there. And you better believe I'll have an Instagram picture probably sometime Thursday evening or Friday, showing off hopefully some new fanfare after throwing baseball through plastic plates. It seems to be the only game that I can win there.
So is it more about the games and rides, or did you do the drive-through deal?
Heck no. It's 100% about rides and food and people and socializing and having a good time. The ride thing would have just been a complete buzzkill.
Now is the Miss Orth, is she familiar with your fanfare for the fair? Is she going to be? Is she prepared for what she's going to see tomorrow night? Or have you warned her of this? Have friends warned her of this? Is she ready for?
So, she has been warned, but one of the many reasons why I married her, or was fortunate enough to trick her into marrying me, was that she also is a giant fair fanatic.
Oh, okay.
So we will be like 2 8-year-olds walking into Disney World, and we stomp through the fairgrounds.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, we'll get an update next week on what the food of choice was and how the rides were. State Fair opening on Wednesday night. We'll catch up with Perry about that. Before we let you go, though, what I did want to ask you, and got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes here, compare a first year in Kurt Roper's system and trying to learn the new terminology and plays to what you're seeing maybe guys try to do right now, whether it's confusion or uncertainty in their job, or just how you can kind of, because you can relate to that about as good, if not better than anybody else, when you see what's happening now with this offense and what you had to go through changing systems to Kurt Roper's.
Yeah, I mean, that was a difficult transition. You get used to doing one thing and then you change to another. I can tell you right now, it's always year 2 is always better than the first year. Just learning the way that plays are called and learning the way plays are read and how coach wants them read and how he wants them blocked. There is a learning curve to it. It makes it a challenge. And if you're not fully invested, and like I said, I can't go back to it enough. If you're not creating explosive plays and you're having to drive the field with a brand new playbook, it's difficult. It can be a challenge. And when you don't have experience to offset some of those those issues, then it really becomes an issue. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. But I'm hopeful that we can turn the ship. But the guys are going to have to. Ultimately, it's the players' game, and the kids are going to have to take ownership of that and try to do the best they can to get it right.
He's Perry Orth joining us each and every Tuesday morning. You want to? Is this a week? Vanderbilt's not good. Have you seen enough to make you think that maybe the offense kind of turns a corner a little bit? Vanderbilt?
Yeah, they'll get better. They'll turn the corner. I sure hope so. We desperately need to.
Amen to that, brother. Perry, good luck at the State Fair. You and the missus, y'all have a great time. Enjoy the food. Well, I look forward to catching up with you next Tuesday to hear all about it and also to get your breakdown of the Vanderbilt game, man. Always appreciate you joining us each and every Tuesday morning.
Appreciate it, brother.
Perry Orth. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Perry Orth 10 is the way to do that. We'll continue talking about that. Anything you heard that you want to weigh in on, 803-404-6100. You can call in, you can text in. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Okay, look at me hitting times properly and all kinds of neat stuff. Running it like a professional. I might have even gotten out a little bit too soon.
That's okay.
It's better than too late.
It's better than too late.
Get this plugged in here. Yeah, I did a good job. It's very smooth. That was a lot better than a couple times when I've run over. All right. All right, everybody. We're walking around. Enjoy the scenery. The new scenery there. Oh, other way. Oh, isn't it? Look. Beautiful. Yay. With the chair, the swivel chair. Whee! Isn't it? I mean, amen, Troy. Amen. Hope. I mean, it's look at it. There's this car, a tree, church, cemetery. There was 30 minutes less of sleeping. There's nature.
Well, yeah, there's
Craig,
trees outside.
Maybe just get a shirt with the view on it. Just sit there.
There you go.
Yeah, much longer commute. I do agree, Bill. A much longer. There was and I say better dressed, but let's just go with there's more dressing that has to happen now because I have to go out and see people. The basketball shorts don't work anymore.
I'm on basketball shorts.
That's a good point. We didn't put two and two together on that.
Basketball shorts definitely work.
Yeah, Patrick's in the basketball shorts.
Oh, there you go.
Hope you've made me feel a little bit better about tonight. I appreciate that. You're right. A little football, a little Braves. Because I played in that golf tournament yesterday, and I am banged up. My knee is still sore.
I haven't had any time to watch all the James Bond movies this week.
All the James Bond movies?
Just the Daniel Craig ones. I want to watch all four of them before I go see the movie.
All four of the
Are you muted, Patrick? Because I can't hear you very much.
We don't hear you.
No, we do.
Now we do.
Just want to make sure we hear Patrick.
Can you not hear me through Bill's computer? No, not really.
Like through mine.
We got all kinds. We're so many things going on here. And why is my lighting just never good? At the house, my lighting wasn't good. Here, I still look dark.
Do we need to get you a ring light? Backlight you.
Yeah, Craig. This was the Monday we had to be back.
Yeah.
So you can kind of put two and two together on that one.
Yep.
I agree, Alan. I think a week from today will be my fair day. Next Tuesday. next Tuesday will be the big fair day with the kids. Go out and tear it up. All kinds of food and rides and
I think I'm either gonna go to the game or the fair. Not both.
yeah, it's the eyes. That dark eyes. Turn the hat around. Does that work? I got to get a haircut. I got to go see my girl. I mean, this is just, you could mop the floor with me right now. This is about as long as my hair's been in forever.
Really?
Look,
That's not
it's,
bad.
yeah, we're not. I need to, let's send a text message right now. I don't even know what my schedule is the rest of the week, to be quite honest.
Maybe she could do a house call. Can she come in and cut your hair while you're on the air? You can multitask?
No house call. Then that means I got to clean it up, or I may have to pay extra.
I'm thinking she'd probably come prepared, garbage bag on the floor.
Hope, I think it's supposed to be Alan. Hope, yeah. Oh, Patrick, Alan's inviting you. Do the double dipper, fair and the game in the same day. Have you ever done that?
No, I have no interest in doing that. That's too much. That's way too much.
No, it's not. I think you get in for free. Do you still get in free to the fair with your football ticket?
I'd have to look that up.
Tomboy saying it. Yeah, always went to the fair. Does that still happen?
Yeah, but I want to watch football. I would probably go to the fair. Actually, I don't really know. My girlfriend's coming down, but she's basically only here for Saturday.
All right, D. Yeah, we did. I think, Tom, the last time that we did that was after South Carolina lost to Mississippi in 2004. We drowned our sorrows in fried Oreos.
What?
Delicious. Also may explain how I got close to 200 pounds.
There you go. That's good timing, Hope. That makes sense. Go to the fair, then go to the game.
Oh yeah. The kids and fairs. Oh, Alan's helping you. Fair on Sunday?
I don't know how much I'll have time for. I mean, I'm going to get off work at like 6
on
Saturday morning. Sleep for a couple hours. Either go tailgating or go to the fair. I don't know. Tough.
I believe we have the pregame show at 11. Who knows? Yes, Hope. Fried Oreos in 2004. I think it was later when they started the fried Snickers. And then they moved to fried butter, which I'm pretty sure comes with a heart attack or a free visit to the cardiologist.
I mean, I would attempt one bite of fried butter.
Oh.
I'm definitely curious about it. Never had an elephant ear, but I know it's no different than a funnel cake.
What do you mean the fries? You can get fries anywhere. Elephant ear I get. I don't feel like I can just run down the road and get an elephant ear.
Right.
Really not 100% sure what an elephant ear is made of. I guess just dough and cinnamon and.
I had a funnel cake 2 weeks ago.
We're back in.
Huh?
I had a funnel cake 2 weeks ago.
You had a funnel cake? Where?
Counting Crows concert.
Okay, if you're not on the live stream, you missed out on some fair discussion. And Patrick just hit me as we were coming right back with, you had a funnel cake at a Counting Crows concert. One, they sell funnel cakes at concerts now.
Yeah.
This is a new thing post-pandemic. Like, is that what's happening now?
I don't know. I really don't go to concerts very often, but I had a corn dog too. That's actually partly because my girlfriend's going down this weekend. We are actually discussing the fair, whether or not we wanted to go, and she said, "I'm actually satisfied because I got fair food at the concert." And
Jenna,
corn dogs and a funnel cake?
Funnel cake at a concert? I don't know if
That's just
it's not computing for me.
It's not in an arena. We were in a lawn.
It is a Counting Crows concert.
I don't know. That just seems.
I don't feel like it's a high energy. Counting Crows is not a high energy concert, right?
I mean, they're old now.
Yeah, that they are. Yeah, older than us. We're being yelled at. I've been yelled at a little bit too much lately about calling people old. We should just say they're older. They're older than you definitely, and they're older than I am.
Yeah, my first album is older than me.
So yeah, I don't know. I can't say that the funnel cake at I don't know if I've
You're
ever.
not gonna eat a funnel cake in Colonial Life Arena at like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, I would assume.
No.
But if you're sitting on a lawn at 8 at night.
I guess an 8 o'clock or an evening
Sunday
event.
night.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Does it?
Yeah.
Or are you just defending him here because I'm blown away by this? Because I'm funnel cakes
No,
with the fair starting. If you're wondering, the fair starts Wednesday, and we got into a little bit of it with Perry Worth in the previous segment. Who, by the way, I like this text. I want to get to this real quick.
What's your name?
Anonymous texter, never texted in before, ever. First text ever. So,
All
hey,
right,
thank
Jose,
you,
thanks so much for calling.
ma'am or sir, for listening,
'Cause you were
and
talking
thank you
about
for
the
joining the
fan
program.
experience, right?
No matter what your take is, I thank you for joining. But texter, absolutely tired of the
Oh, so you're a
optimism
fan
with
of
our
Shane.
program.
Yep.
The truth
Yep.
is, we are not a good team. We're a
Yeah,
new
all
team
right.
in the
Thank
SEC,
you.
and we were rebuilding. Beamer and Perry's optimism has to stop. Now, okay, I just thank you for that text with the optimism. So hopefully our optimism over the fair and funnel cakes and elephant ears swings this texter back the other direction, and it's okay. But with all that being said,
Shane Beamer needs to stop being so optimistic about his football team.
are you being serious?
No.
Okay. No, okay. Yeah, I mean, look, that's who Shane Beamer is going to be. Shane Beamer will speak with the media today at 1:15, as one of our other anonymous texters pointed out earlier. I don't know what people expect.
Also, read the second text. With the rest of the 6 games, Vanderbilt and Missouri, I think, are 2 wins. Besides that, I don't think I see us winning another game. We're all on the same page right there.
Yeah, that's a good-
Everyone is on the same page about that.
And I also feel like the fact that now we're lumping Missouri in the potential wins is kind of crazy. Like, I would not have done that about 3 weeks ago, and now we're kind of saying, well, who knows? The offense gets going. Missouri is kind of
more about Missouri than
it does right now at this point. 803-404-6100 if you want to join us this morning, whether you want to weigh in. So far, the off-topic conversations have been Halloween costumes for Patrick that involve a mustache, and now we're getting into fair food. If you want to go down that avenue, you can also weigh in the Braves. Thank you to Hope on the live stream. I forgot there's actually a really good college football game tonight. It's actually not a bad Tuesday night of sports in general. Look, Patrick and I have banged the drum along with a few other people around here for a while on playoff hockey. The playoffs don't start tonight. The regular season does. There's a new television package for the NHL. Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay play at 7:30 tonight. Seattle will make their NHL debut. The Kraken go to Las Vegas to take on the Vegas Golden Knights. But their hockey season, the regular season, gets started tonight. But again, there's actually a really interesting, good college football game. You might be watching future head coach of the LSU Tigers, Billy Napier, host Appalachian State tonight. App State and Louisiana, 7:30 tonight on ESPN2. So you've actually got a pretty good college football game worth watching on a Tuesday night, because the next few weeks we go down a path there. Like Thursday night, you get Navy, Memphis, and Georgia Southern, South Alabama. At least with South Alabama, you can check in and see how Jake Bentley's doing. If you want to do that on Thursday night, everybody will get fired up. But yeah, App State, Louisiana. And then today, 5:15, all you Braves fans get fired up. Braves with a chance to clinch the divisional series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Braves look like they're turning it on. And look, I like the Braves. I've gone to plenty of games over there. I've not been to the new ballpark. I went to a lot of Yankees games because I lived up in New York for a little while my mother was at Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital. So I kind of both the Braves and the Yankees, but my day does not start and end with anything that the Braves or the Yankees do. But I would love to see a Braves-Red Sox World Series. Like, I think that would be real. So there's something about baseball that's played where guys are wearing the sweatshirts and they look kind of cold and it looks slightly uncomfortable that I enjoy in the postseason. I never liked I never really liked like when the Marlins or the Diamondbacks would host a World Series game because it looked warm. It didn't seem fun. Again, those were two teams I didn't really care about. That probably
I can
helped.
get on board with that take because I have been to Boston during a World Series game and it was cold, and I do actually like the atmosphere. But I mean, realistically, I guess the Braves are the only opportunity that I would potentially watch a single pitch of baseball for the rest of the year, just for the sake of people in this market and my friends that are Braves fans. But I'm out on baseball when the Nats are not involved.
I can understand that. No, I'm Boston and the Braves. Boston, the Boston and Atlanta series would be absolutely awesome if it's the Giants or the Dodgers. I would prefer not to see the Dodgers and the Red Sox. We've done that. I don't really care to go down that path again. I know our good buddy Brian Glenn would be all for that. My buddy Kevin McCreary would be all for that as a Dodgers fan. I saw recently where he was out there taking in a couple games versus both the Cardinals and the Giants. But I would all for an Atlanta Red Sox series. Red Sox advancing last night. They'll be in the championship series there against either Houston or the Chicago White Sox. That game was postponed last night. Houston leads that series 2-1. They will get going earlier today, or I say earlier today, earlier than the Braves, later today, 2:00. Then you've got the Braves at 5:00. You got the Giants and the Dodgers tonight. So a little Major League Baseball for you today, but again, a pretty good college game tonight taking place. Appalachian State and Louisiana. Again, Billy Napier there, and a lot happening, Patrick. We got into college football a little bit yesterday. We didn't go into some of the crazier things. LSU getting run out of the building by Kentucky over the weekend. Ed Orgeron yelling, telling fans that there's fishing holes where they can go to and never come back.
Tayshaun Butte's out for the year. Derek Stingley's out for the year. LSU is done. Ed Orgeron is done.
It's interesting because that's a big time job. And as we look around the country, Southern Cal is already open. LSU probably going to open up. There's a lot of people unhappy with Manny Diaz in Miami, but I don't see them making that move. By the way, Florida State bouncing back over the weekend. Didn't talk about that one. Beating North Carolina in Chapel Hill. The bloom is off Mac Brown. They're still recruiting really good. But for a year where Sam Howell was considered a Heisman candidate, was like a top 10
Probably still will be a top 10 pick.
draft pick, you think? Okay.
Probably. I mean, Spencer Rattler, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if he's even going to play college football next year, much less play for Oklahoma next year. I don't know what's going to happen there, but it's basically Malik Willis from Liberty and Sam Howell right now atop the draft rankings, I think.
Okay.
It's a very, very weak quarterback class.
So it's interesting, but that would certainly be something that you can get into tonight. And again, opening night in the NHL. I know there are few of you that are as thrilled as Patrick and I are on that. And then next Tuesday, by the way, is opening night in the NBA. And let me just glance ahead because I'll give you another one as I figured this out last week. No, I don't even know what that is actually. 1, 2, let's see, 7, 14, 21.
We were counting down the weeks until college basketball starts.
Okay, that's what it is. The Tuesday, the 9th. Yeah. Okay, Champions Classic. I thought you were giving me some kind of soccer thing. I wasn't sure there.
That's Champions League.
Yeah, 28 days, 1 month from now, college basketball. 1 month from tonight, college basketball gets going as well. So we're kicking into high season with sports, with baseball wrapping up, NHL, NBA going on, and NFL and college football, and then college basketball again. 4 weeks from tonight, South Carolina opens with USC Upstate. And then, as you just mentioned, the Champions Classic. So a lot going on. Anything you want to weigh in on this morning? 803-404-6100. We get another text message for the Ron Burgundy.
That was kind of the obvious answer.
Brad also weighs in. Do you think LSU will upset Florida this weekend? No. This does feel like a moment. The game will be down in Baton Rouge. Dan Mullins, he might have already had it, but now that maybe we think Kentucky's pretty good. Maybe the kooky loss to Kentucky wasn't the Dan Mullen clunker that he tends to throw. Dan Mullen's going to throw a clunker out. Last year it was the LSU game where LSU was very bad and LSU came into Gainesville and beat Florida. Dan Mullen is a very good coach. Well, there was a shoe, but again, that's part of Dan Mullen. There is part of this. Dan Mullen throws out a clunker once every year. I thought it was going to be the Kentucky game. Now maybe Kentucky's not bad, and it wasn't the Kentucky game. is it this coming weekend? The point spread on that thing, I think, which is crazy. LSU in Baton Rouge is about a 12-point underdog, which just speaks to where that program is at right now. But do you give LSU any chance of pulling the upset on Florida this coming
I
weekend?
mean, they have a chance. It's an 11 a.m. kick, right? In Baton Rouge, yeah, right.
The schedule
The noon
is
game for us,
yes,
which means
yes,
it's 11 a.m.
ESPN.
in
Yep,
Baton Rouge.
11 a.m. So
That is, I bet you the crowd is going to be unimpressive. I'm not giving LSU a ton of home field advantage for an 11 a.m. kick when they all want Ed Orgeron fired and their two best players are out for the season. But they're still extremely talented, and I'm not sold at all really on Florida. I think Emory Jones could easily and LSU's defensive line has still been really good this year. I don't know if they're still leading the SEC in sacks, but they were by a mile just like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, they can still win that game, but I mean, they're a really poorly coached team right now. I can't imagine Florida not winning that game.
803-404-6100. People weighing in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. A couple of these to kind of go through. David weighs in. We need optimism. It's going to take time to build at South Carolina. Kentucky didn't get to 6-0 by assembling the mob and running Stoops out of town. We need to cool it. If not, shoot ourselves in the foot by showing recruits that we will turn on players or coaches at the drop of a hat. Brad weighs in, and he's talking about LSU. Fire a coach with a top 5 recruiting and national championship in as many years at LSU. That's LSU, though, right?
Anyone can bring a top 5 recruiting class to LSU.
That's what you're getting there. So,
and LSU fans do not attribute that national championship to Ed Orgeron. They attribute it to Joe Brady and Joe Burrow.
So you got that going on as well. 803-404-6100. How you can weigh in this morning. Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. We appreciate also the suggestions. Justin giving you the Val Kilmer Doc Holiday from Tombstone there as well. Raphael offering the Burt Reynolds Turd Ferguson win, which would actually be pretty good. I could give you that win if you wanted to go. So all kinds of topics out there if you want to weigh in this morning. Casey also weighing in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line says, if all of our observations are correct about talent and coaches, next year Carolina will win 8 games, and I can't wait. This year Carolina will win 2 more games, Vanderbilt and Missouri, but my fingers are crossed that we can also beat Clemson. So a little bit of optimism. People maybe turning a corner a little bit. Shane Beamer will speak to the media again later today, 1:15. You can hear it right here on 107.5 The Game. We'll get out to the phone lines. We'll continue on with your text messages and anything else. You can always weigh in on the live stream. We are having an issue with the Facebook live stream, so if you want to join us, go to the YouTube channel, 107.5 The Game. We ask that you subscribe. We would be thrilled with that. And you can join us and weigh in. A lot of discussion right now on both the Braves, on fair food, on the Seattle Kraken. It's kind of all over the place. That live stream is its own little world where you can come in and just hang out with Hope and with Alan and with RL and Troy and all kinds of people. Yes, it is. It's become a family. So if you've been looking for an extra family to be a part of the live stream, the 107.5 The Game, the early game live stream, certainly one to go and join. 803-404-6100. We'll get out to the Love Chevy phone lines when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Year is closing down, but that doesn't mean there aren't a few opportunities to save money, especially a big one with your mortgage. If you want to refinance, now is the time to call Buford Lending and Benji Getsy. You got once in a lifetime record rates that are bottoming out post-pandemic. So why would you not call the man, the myth, the legend, Benji Getsy with Buford Lending? How about this? If you call him, 843-524-2404. He'll give you a free evaluation anytime, day or night. That's right. All he'll do is talk to you. He'll tell you what he can do to help save your money. He's just asking you give him a chance. 843-524-2404. Let Benji Getsy and his team with Buford Lending work with you. Again, rapidly increasing real estate values are helping previous first-time home buyers and limited down payment owners lower their interest rate and also eliminate the PMI, or what we know as private mortgage insurance. Refi opportunities are saving clients an average of $300 to $500 a month. Think about that, $300 to $500 a month. Patrick, how many elephant ears or funnel cakes is that at a concert?
I think it was like $10.
It was $10. That's a lot of funnel cakes. That's 50. That's like you get 50 extra funnel cakes if you just go to Benji Getsy and save. You could save $500. Think about all the funnel cakes you'd be able to go out and enjoy. To be delicious.
More than 50 funnel cakes.
It's a great way to save money. 843-524-2404. Call Benji Getsy today. Get a free evaluation anytime, day or night. He'll work with you. Help save you money on your mortgage plan. 843-524-2404. That's Benji Getsy with Buford Lending. Oh. Oh, it's funny to read the text message because some people think that the roster is fine. There's talent. There's people who think that it's a complete rebuild. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We're all just. Gotta walk around. We see this puppy up here. Yeah, it was like.
So many wires. I would really like to be able to figure out where.
Yeah, I was muted, Jim, because I think we were echoing. Somebody can confirm that when Bill and I's mics are both on. I was trying to talk loud so I could be heard through Bill's laptop, which is like 3 feet away from him. This. Just very confused. Can you see that camera? No, you can't really see that camera. Well, it's on, but it's not working. When it does work, it's green. Not as comfortable, but I do like being able to talk in between breaks and not having a delay. Just using eye contact to know when to say something.
I have to share the bathroom again.
Yeah.
So I'm not as excited about you guys being back.
Yeah, it's not as great as that.
No, it's good to have people. I mean, it's been lonely around here. You figure there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 studios in here, and really for 18 months, I'm the one that's been here every morning. So it's kind of nice to have some bodies back. Even if one of them.
Sorry, Troy. I'll move the chair.
That's funny. Yeah, gotta zoom in on that cemetery.
Kind of a weird thing is we've gotten several first-time textures this morning. You know, so not real sure what I'm supposed to take away from that.
Okay.
Why does Jen need a raise? What did Jen do? She didn't
Yeah.
come move my chair for Troy.
I mean, I'm okay with the idea, but what at least is the reason so I can really dive in on it? Because I got to deal with people again. I mean, that would make sense. My work conditions are different.
Oh, she's been at the studio by herself. Yeah, hence the raise. She's fine. She's had this beautiful view back behind us.
Yeah.
And she's been able to look on the live stream and see my view. So she's gotten the best of both worlds. Here, there. Beautiful.
Yeah, but now it's been taken away. You took away that view, and now I have to look at you guys in person, and you're cluttering my view.
Plenty of hot takes to give. We had an anonymous texter weigh in earlier. Tells he's had enough, Patrick. Had enough of the optimism. Both Perry Orth, then he jumped on Perry Orth and Shane Beamer. You had enough. Well, guess what? Those kind of hot takes, you can always give them to 107.5 The Game. You can use the Twin Peaks Hot Take Hotline, 803-978-6654. If you need to vent, it's there for you anytime, night or day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sponsored by Twin Peaks for the men who never settle. Go see him down in the Vista at 600 Gervais Street. Again, it's the 107.5 The Game in Twin Peaks Hotline. That's right, 803-978-6654. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't need to text in. You don't have to call in. You can just flat out call in and give a hot, scalding hot take on optimism, pro or against. 803-404-6100. That's how you can call us. You got a couple people on the Love Chevy phone line. You can also weigh in via the text line. 803-404-6100 is how you can do that. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. And LJ is up next. Positivity about Shane Beamer. What you got for us, LJ, this morning? How you doing? What's on your mind?
I got lots of love for you, Bill and Jan, but negative Patrick. What? Kind of skeptical on. Yeah, buddy. Optimistic. Got to be more optimistic. Patrick, if you think back to the Kentucky game, during halftime, you met my brother upstairs, and he was wearing the Ricky Hagan jersey. You remember that?
The Kentucky game?
Mm-hmm. Up in the sportsman lounge.
I don't know.
But anyway,
I was in Greenville for the Kentucky game.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he met you at the Wild Wings. But anyway, I am optimistic about Beamer. This is a young guy taking on a head coaching job. And we've been buying tickets for, my uncle's been buying them 42 years. I got 6 graduates from Carolina in my family. So we've always been Gamecock fans. We were there when they were 0-21. We were there when they were looking to go to Orange Bowl with Joe Morrison, Jim Carlin days. But we got to give Beamer a chance. This guy is trying to bring a program and put it back together after it has been lost. Like, no recruits. People into the portals. So we lost some players that he probably would have enjoyed having at this point in time. But I think the guy, he could, if we just let him do his thing, he will get either put his coaches in line or get other coaches to come in line. But you got to give the guy time. I mean, I know Carolina, we just want to be a winning program. We want to be competitive in everything across the board. And hey, I'm the first one to stand in line. I'm a Gamecock, true and blue. There's no other team that I would pull for. So I'm riding it out. I'm staying with it. I'm in here for the long haul. And if Bama needs me, I'll be there for him.
Appreciate the phone call, LJ. That's some optimism.
Yeah, whoever's
Yeah.
walking around games acting negative, passing themselves off
Is Patrick, yeah.
Identity theft is a real thing. They need to stop doing
Yeah.
that.
Sounds like somebody's got their own personal Patrick Barrett costume that they're wearing around and testing it out before Halloween.
I was half asleep on my sister's couch in Greenville. Kentucky.
Okay, so there's that. So yeah, LJ, get back to us on who what I forget who he said his cousin or brother or friend.
Brother, I think.
Okay, let's get to the bottom of that one and root out this fake Patrick Barrett. 803-404-6100. That was some real optimism. Let's see if the next person, Gamecock Larry, can match that level of optimism. It's your go, Larry. What's on your mind this morning?
All I can say, I 100% agree with the previous call. I feel the same way. Now, I get disappointed, like I might say some things, but it's the truth. But I'm a Gamecock. I've always been a Gamecock. 80-something years, I'm a Gamecock till I die. But let me tell you, Gamecock Nation, we 6-6. 3 down, 6 down, and 6 to go. We 3-3, what we always thought the Gamecocks would be. We didn't think we was gonna be 5-1 and all that, which I did say that because I wanted to be 5-1, but we're not. Now we got 6 to go. 6 to go, we're gonna win 3 of those at least. But I'm gonna say we're gonna go 4-2. We're gonna wind up in the goal game. We're gonna be 7-5. And these teams that we got on the last 6, they are beatable. I'm not saying we'll beat them, but all of them have lost at least 2 games. So therefore they are beatable. And I'm gonna say we're gonna beat 4 of them. Go Gamecocks!
Oh, a whole bunch of optimism there. Back-to-back phone calls, Patrick. That's the kind of optimism folks need on a Tuesday morning. It is kind of gloomy out there. Somebody on the live stream pointed out just how gloomy it is out there. But look, I will say this regarding South Carolina football. It's wildly interesting to see the difference in what people are saying. I've got certain texters who are weighing in and saying that the roster does not have the talent and needs to have a complete rebuild, and it's going to take several years. They've got to get more playmakers in. We keep using the word game changers. I don't know, like Juju McDowell, I think, maybe is a game changer from the standpoint. He's got speed. He seems elusive. He could take it and go 80 yards at any given time. Marshawn Lloyd maybe fits that bill. I don't know. I don't know what a game changer is, but you've got to get some guys in that scare the other team, and there's certainly a lack of that right now on offense. Defensively, JJ Ngare, I think
has been dominant every single game, but hasn't changed the game.
Yeah, you look at what he's doing, and certainly it's very good, but it's going to take a time. So you've got a portion of the fan base who says, "Hey, look, the roster is not where it needs to be. You're going to have to recruit your way out of this." And Shane Beamer needs plenty of time and just allow him to do his own thing. And then you got the flip side of that where people are like, "Hey, the roster's not that bad. We should have been far more competitive in Knoxville this past weekend. That shouldn't have happened." It's interesting to see where South Carolina fans are at right now regarding the current talent of the roster, because there are good players. Like, Will Muschamp didn't recruit a bunch of bums. There are significant holes in the roster. I don't think anybody can question that right now. You've also got a quarterback who, look, is going to need time to develop. Luke Doty's going to need time to develop. And I don't know where he's at physically. Yeah, I have no clue. And I'll also say this for Luke Doty, and I'm not trying to be negative. I get it. We've got a positive segment going, and I'm about to rain on the positivity. I know that Luke Doty's foot is bothering him to some extent. Have you watched, has there been anything, and go back to last year, Patrick, what we try to remember in 2.5 games, where Luke Doty has gone to scramble, and you're like, yeah, he looks like a natural dual threat quarterback.
Like,
He doesn't look to me.
because he's not making guys miss and jigging.
He just looks like, he looks honestly, the first time I saw him actually have a run that looked, was the third and long play this past weekend where he broke out. First, I think it was the good drive where he broke out and ran left. It looks like he's either kind of a second and a half late to take off. He doesn't look comfortable as a scrambler. And I'm not trying to compare him to Connor Shaw, who could basically go 0 to 60.
Because when you say a pure dual threat quarterback, that would mean that he's gonna carry it. Like, it's gonna be a designed run to him. And I guess I agree from the standpoint that he doesn't run like a running back. I'm trying to think of a quarterback that does right now in college football. Like Carryon Joyner does, I guess, but he's doing Wildcat stuff now. He's clearly athletic. If you're saying that he doesn't run with the vision and the
Does he run any different than Jake Bentley did right now? When you watch Jake, you're sure he's well. We're all told he's faster, but does he look any different? And again, I know there are people out there saying, "Well, Bill, he's got an injured foot right now." I realize that, but I'm also going back to last year when I saw him in full games against Georgia and Kentucky and half the game against Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, there's a clear difference between him and like a Cam Newton. He runs the ball and he looks like a running back. Like, not just because he's 250 pounds, but because he's just got that vision. He runs, he tucks the ball like a running back. He makes guys miss. Like, I guess I agree with you in that, but he really hasn't gotten the opportunity to carry it too much. It's just it's night and day when we saw Zeb Nolan pull it on the first play against Georgia and run in slow motion for a 2-yard gain. But I can kind of see maybe he's not a natural ball carrier more than he's not a dual threat type of athlete. Like, I'm sure he can get there because he does have the athleticism. I think he's faster than Jake Bentley.
He is faster than Jake Bentley. There's no question about that. I was looking to see. I would assume he is going to speak today. When I say he, Luke Doty will speak today. I was looking to see if they had put out the list of student athletes that will speak today at the press conference. It'll actually be Jaheim Bell, Luke Doty, Nick Muse, and Zach Pickens will all address the media starting around noon, and then Shane Beamer at 1:15. So we'll get to hear from Luke Doty. We'll hear how healthy he is. A lot of people that I at least talked to down there seem to now be insinuating that he's not going to be 100% healthy by the end of the season, that this foot deal is going to need the offseason to heal. So something also to keep an eye on there. But again, Shane Beamer speaking today at 1:15. We'll hear from him, and we'll move on to the Vanderbilt game. Got a text in here from Justin, who's trying to figure out the game's at 4 o'clock, Justin, this weekend. He's out in Cali, so that means you will be having a 1 o'clock game time there, 4 o'clock on the SEC network. So trying to figure that out. But Patrick, back to the point of the roster, I think that's kind of where we're at through 6 games. A lot of folks trying to figure out, if you're saying, for the person saying, hey, the roster's awful, okay, well then you're kind of saying, hey, 3-3 is not a bad place to be at this point in time. Like 3-3, okay, they've been competitive with Kentucky. I would have not really picked that given what Kentucky would be. If you're saying that the roster is better, I feel like you're going, all right, well, then they're a little bit of a disappointment. They probably should have won the Kentucky game. Look, Kentucky's 6-0, but what are you buying into? As I'll look real quick, Kentucky and Georgia this weekend. The game's at Georgia. I will pull up the points, but I didn't even think to look at this one because, again, I don't know how much stock I put into Kentucky. Kentucky, again, 3:30 game, CBS this weekend. Kentucky travels to Georgia. Georgia just blowing everybody out of the water right now, 34-10 this week. You want to guess, by the way, point spread for the South Carolina-Georgia game in Athens, right? Night game. Remember what it was?
It was 20.
No,
we lost by 27. It was 30.
31. Point spread for the Kentucky-Georgia this weekend. Kentucky 6-0, 3:30 games, so not a night game. That does factor in. Point spread, number 11 Kentucky.
20.
23.5.
Very good. You've either looked at that or you're a genius. 24 to 23, depending on which book you look at. Caesars has got 24 is Caesars. Circa Sports is 23.
Last week it was 18.5 in Auburn, and they covered easily and dominated. It's got to just keep going up every week when Georgia continues to throttle everyone.
24, 23. Again, depending on what book you look at, it's 24, 23.5, 23 are your numbers. But think about that. I mean, we talked about everybody was shocked off South Carolina. A 30.
It's in Athens, right?
It's in Athens.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky has, and Will Levis in particular, has played awesome in the big games at home. LSU and Missouri. He lived up to the hype in both of those games. Maybe he just doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he's just not going to be a traveling quarterback.
It'll be interesting this weekend. Again, that's your 3:30 game. We'll go through some of these games from the week or coming up this coming weekend as we start to turn the page. You want to weigh in 803-404-6100. You can weigh in. Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Why is this not starting?
We got a problem?
On 107.5 The Game.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Are you muted?
Yeah. I am curious why he thinks that I was with his brother at the game.
Oh, maybe that's what he's called. Is to fill you in. Oh, you can unmute yourself.
Well, I just don't know how the echo is happening and how do I stop it.
Morning, York. And sorry, I haven't been reading I agree on, and the jury's still out on Luke. I'm not trying to say that Luke's a bad quarterback. I just all I'm trying to say is the scrambling aspect of it. I'm not as impressed. I thought he would be a little bit more elusive. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. And I apologize. I just got a couple text messages about it. I apologize. We don't have the current equipment to plug in. Really, I need to see what we need to get the plug in from the computer to like headphone jacks to plug in from here. I would think there's a cord for that, like an auxiliary cord.
So LJ called. He said, "I owe Patrick a huge apology."
Oh.
He said it was somebody else he was thinking of, and he said, "I was sure it was Patrick," and I just talked. And he said he just talked to his brother, and he's like, "I'm wrong," and he said, "So I want to call and apologize." So he said, didn't mean to hurt his feelings. That's not what it's all about.
They didn't say anything bad about me. I mean, he said I was negative, but I
Yeah.
thought that was the radio thing, not the
Right?
not the negative guy. Where did he say this? Where did he say it was the sportsman?
Sportsman's Lounge or something.
Yeah, and he said maybe it had something to do with some podcast or something. But anyway, so and again, I guess I could have just said this on live stream. But so that was very nice of him.
That was nice of him.
Not everybody will come back and do that.
Right. I want to know who it was. What is the Sportsman Lounge?
I don't know what it is. I don't know where he was at. All right. Thank goodness he didn't say like the Boom Boom Room or something like.
Blow up.
Yeah. Yeah. Club 2001.
I don't know. I really don't know what this place would be.
I don't know.
How was it hopping? That is the first apology I've received. People just say mean things with no remorse. Gotta cover my tracks.
Yeah, you better. Very rarely do we get somebody to call in to apologize to us. Big thank you to LJ who cleared Patrick's good name over here. Apparently, there's not a Patrick Perrette just out there wandering around, posing to be you.
You didn't say anything bad though.
Well, he kind of called you negative at first.
I am
Which,
negative. I thought
okay.
that was more about things that I said on the radio. That's okay.
Thanks to LJ. Yeah, we did again. It's a lot of people who just want to
Gentleman and a scholar.
just take shots. Yeah, so it's all right. It's all right. It all comes with part of the job. I take criticism. Sometimes well, sometimes not so well. Just kind of depends. Okay, there you go. If you want to weigh in, final few minutes, 803-404-6100. How you can do so. Love Chevy phone lines, the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. As we get you say, well, again, on this program at least, we'll move forward starting tomorrow. We'll get more into Vanderbilt and look ahead to the weekend that will be in college football. Certainly, again, very interesting times now. As you've seen some of what we thought was the original or the dominance, I guess you would call them, of the college football landscape. You've seen them struggle this year. We know Clemson is politely removed themselves from consideration. They're outside of the top 25. They've got a game Friday night against Syracuse that I think only Clemson fans care about now, maybe even some Syracuse fans. You do have a few good games this coming weekend, though. Your noon slate, Oklahoma State and Texas. Patrick, for what? I don't know. About 48 minutes there. Texas looked like they were going to be one of those one-loss contenders this year that maybe beat Oklahoma, fought their way back into consideration for a college football playoff berth if they could run the table. Maybe the Arkansas loss wouldn't look too bad, and then they came absolutely unglued. Now you get Oklahoma State, who's undefeated, coming to Austin, Texas for a noon game on Fox. Like, where do you put? And Texas, by the way, didn't fall out of the ranks. They're 25 right now. They're hanging around. But where do you put Texas in the grand scheme of things when we talk college football landscape right now? And I guess big picture, long term with Sarkisian off of what you've seen.
Oh, I believe in Steve Sarkisian. I thought that it was a good hire, risky hire, I guess, but he's an offensive guru. I watched a hour-long coaches film session thing on YouTube of Steve Sarkisian. I was sold immediately with him just breaking down Falcons and Alabama tape for an hour, and I was like, wow, this guy's a genius. I assume any offensive coordinator in the country could do that, and I would be amazed, but I was blown away. No, I think Texas is legit. I have no idea what's going to happen with Oklahoma State because Oklahoma State, a lot like Michigan State, two of the undefeated teams that I just have not watched at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about them. I don't even know who the quarterback of Oklahoma State is. Is it the Earl? He has a wild last name.
Of Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
Spencer Sanders.
Spencer Sanders?
Spencer Sanders is the name you're looking for there.
No, that's not the name I was looking for, but
Okay.
he was the starter last year. There's a guy with a crazy last name.
Yes.
Long last name.
Spencer Sanders is back
Shane
for them.
Illingworth. That's what I was looking for.
He started a couple. Spencer Sanders has come back from injury and has been playing. Another noon game that Patrick and I have kind of discussed because of one particular team. Auburn looking to bounce back from the beating they took at the hands of Georgia. Georgia just hands those out on a weekly basis now. But Auburn travels to Arkansas. I give a lot of credit to Arkansas. Like 5.5 was the line last week in the Ole Miss Arkansas game. I thought Ole Miss would roll Arkansas. I thought Arkansas coming off of that loss to Georgia, having to go back on the road, would kind of be brought down to earth. That was a great game, 52-51. All kudos in the world to Sam Pittman for going for 2 there. KJ Jefferson was lights out, accounted for 6 touchdowns. But now Arkansas, 2-game losing streak, and here comes Auburn, who played okay against Penn State, had chances to win. Last week against Georgia, Georgia did to Auburn what everybody does, and now really you look at the Auburn win over LSU and you go, okay, that doesn't mean anything. We'll do picks on Friday as we always do. Nothing will change there. But Arkansas-Auburn this coming weekend, both of those teams, huge game for both.
Yeah, and I really thought that Arkansas was going to just go on a massive losing skid, but the 52-51 I don't know what I'm more impressed by. I think the Arkansas offense is never in a million years did I expect them to be this good. I kind of think Arkansas can win that game. They're a tough team. I really like this Arkansas team. Like they really do not quit. I appreciate Sam Pittman. I don't know. I just don't. I will always be a Bo Nix hater.
Okay, seems fair.
I can't talk myself out of that, even though he's done some impressive things. But even the plays he makes, like that crazy play against LSU, he had a wide open first down if he had just thrown it right away. But he just always makes things more difficult. And I just think an Arkansas team is going to take advantage of that. Someone's got to at some point.
Arkansas is an experienced. Arkansas is an experienced team. They hit the transfer portal hard in the offseason. They've brought some guys in. That Arkansas team right now is not going to be the same team that South Carolina sees next year on I believe it's September 10th in Fayetteville. So Arkansas, but again, Sam Pittman doing a really good job. Those are just some of the interesting 12 o'clock games. Maybe you're fired up for Yale, UConn. If so,
Roger McCreary, Treylon Burks matchup. NFL scouts will be watching that one very closely.
You want to give me the 2 teams for that? Okay. Okay. I thought you were giving me a Yale UConn reference there.
Wide receiver, Arkansas, Roger McCreary,
3:30. We've mentioned Kentucky, Georgia. 3:30 slate leaves a lot to be desired. Miami and North Carolina on the ACC network this coming weekend.
Out for the year.
It's a weird, man. Both teams, big disappointment. Both fan bases. North Carolina probably doesn't care. Basketball's about to get going for them. So Miami, we'll see. Manny Diaz is under a lot of pressure there as things get going. Obviously, Vanderbilt, South Carolina at 4 o'clock. The night slate. It's not a great weekend of college football as a whole. Alabama goes to Mississippi State. Not particularly thrilled about that. TCU's at Oklahoma on ABC. Maybe the most interesting game is South Carolina's most recent opponent, Tennessee at home, hosting Mississippi. Lane Kiffin, first time back in Knoxville. That's probably your best night game that you can get fired up about and watch.
We got an over-under on that one. I mean, that's the only reason people are going to want to watch that because there's going to be points.
Just points and points and points. We'll get that going. So yeah, there's kind of a. What do you got? You got it? Oh, I've got it. Got it. You want to ballpark it?
I also have it.
80.
I was wondering if it was gonna hit that 8 number.
80. It actually opened at 85 and a half. It is down to 81.
That is
for
an
those of you out there.
insane number to open it.
So there's your kind of little bit of preview of the weekend. We'll get into more of it. Play some Shane Beamer tomorrow. Appreciate everybody for tuning in this morning. For Patrick Pratt, for Jen Jensen, I'm Bill Gunner. You've been listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Don't forget your
Sign
box
us
is a
out. Go
minute.
get some
All right,
sleep.
everybody. We'll try and get that camera working again.
Yeah, the green camera.
Yeah.
Good times.
See you tomorrow, everyone.